Galaxy easily looking at top 5 if they can defend their compound.
Oh, they're chilling big time. Unless they're just going to be witnessing a huge wave of teams coming in onto their compound, just trying to ram their vehicles right onto it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening in the future. For now, Xavier, Frankie being taken out, Lamborghini's the man. And certainly, this time is not as quick as his name. Instead, taking things a little slow, being as cautious as possible. Popping that medkit as well. It's taken down to 70% of HP. And Lamborghini, I do understand the only man alive, has a lot of pressure, but guess what? Strikes at the right time.
Not only that, as a solo here on Miramar, you got a lot of dips, you got a lot of terrain to work with to try to avoid any type of sight lines. So maybe they could solo snake it and come out on top with some additional placement points. Fenerbahce out there in the distance. They are going to have to reposition here very shortly. Parabor, though, look at that. Another teammate on the field. M249 out there in the open, looking to get some nice shots on out. Well, Lamborghini did reposition. They saw the water, and they said, YOLO, sending it straight to the water. That's a good play, though. I like that play a lot.
That is indeed kind of like the safest route you can take inside these kind of zones. But A7, looking to take out the man in the close. And it's going to be Kador from Nextruya. Easily being taken care of. A7 now, they also need to make it inside the zone. So the pathway in the front is going to be a little exposed. But it's fine. They've got the vehicles covering their back. Senatex and Mafioso, they're going to be making their way slowly inside the zone. Infinity as well. As I mentioned, they had a really great positioning until the zone moved away from them. But still, they can try and hold off the teams that are in the back, including Nova. But Jimmy's the only man alive.
Yeah, still pretty solid position, though, all things considered. I think a little bit of it is in the next circle, and we saw they have those different levels of terrain to work with. So as long as they can make sure nobody surprises them from behind, they should be looking ahead, looking downhill. And as long as they have some vehicles to maybe work with, they are looking pretty solid, in my opinion, especially with 4 up.
Oh, they are looking really solid. Team Secret right on the edge, including Stalwart Esports. This game definitely not as good as expected, but Team Secret for sure. Even though they're hurt, they're not down yet. They're still giving a huge fight to all these teams in the lobby. 2 players alive. Shot should be back up on his feet in no time. A7. Carrillo taken out. That's not going to be keeping A7 settled. They need to make sure Carrillo's going to be back up on his feet. And Nextruya is the one trying to hold him off at bay. Yikta going to be confirming the kill on to Carrillo. Barely alive on a sliver of health, but Yikta still charges forward, and he is getting taken care of.
Yeah, charging downhill like that. No real option because the next zone did shift. So
what is that pressure? Circle?
Yep, that pressure just added on top of that one. So Mafioso happy after that elim, looking to loot some crates, looking to get some additional meds, re-up on the ammo, and then pretty much reposition to Senatexa, who I believe has a pretty solid snaking position out there on that road. As long as they can avoid the sightlines from Enigma Galaxy, who have been, we have to say, they have been big chilling this whole game. What a position they called out, and what a position they claimed early on here.
Exactly, but I don't like the split coming in from Raouf. All the way separated out. I understand it's a 3-1 split, but still, in these kind of moments, you're not supposed to separate out, and that's what exactly I was saying, because soon there might be a lot of charge-ins, and Raouf, he does have the buggy underneath the water, but he got spotted, taking a lot of shots, and oh no, steps out the buggy in the nick of time, but Infinity, here comes a charge-in through from their side as well.
I did like the Raouf play as long as they don't get taken out here, because to me that's like the insurance policy. You send one into the water because you know water's in play, and you make sure that they stay alive. Meanwhile, use your numbers to your advantage. See, we need to see Freak, we need to see Lord, we need to see them be putting in that pressure to make sure that insurance policy in the water does stay alive, and they weren't able to pull that off here.
Oh, not anymore. The insurance policy gets taken away from them. Unfortunate, Team Secret, but still, Enigma Galaxy, they have the man advantage inside this entire situation, and they can always turn it into a victory. Unless, again, they don't make any kind of rookie mistakes. Team Secret, Shots the only man alive, but all it takes is that one little mistake, and Shots will get a huge chance to try and bounce back.
Another huge game, too, when we're talking elim points for these top teams. Alpha 7, I saw 7 elim points Enigma Galaxy 8 elim points, so they were able to really use that position, that compound in their favor. As Lord gonna be pulling up here, grenade, cooking it, looking to toss it. Let's see, will it be successful? Oh, Freak also going into water? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's a questionable play from Enigma Galaxy. I don't know why they did that. Trying their best to take out shots, and finally a nade connects on the shots. As we mentioned, got him, a huge got him moment without a doubt, but now it's a 2-on-2 situation, and A7, they thrive in these moments.
They do. They do. Let's see, getting shot from the SLR. Now, just think about it. If they would have kept Freak alive, they would have had a 3v2 right now. But instead, Freak went into the water. Don't know why. Now they're down to just a 2v2, and this is Mafioso and Senatexa, two of the most consistent players from the West League.
Oh, using that bus as a movie cover as well. I do like what Hammoudi is trying to do here, but if Enigma Galaxy played things a little bit more safer, this wouldn't be the outcome. Yeah, Hammoudi taken down a little bit too low. Yeah, as you mentioned, two grouped up. There needs to be a little separation. There needs to be a little bit more info gathering, and I do like what A7 are doing. Senatex are trying his best to give as much as visual info as possible to Mafioso, and Mafioso slowly and steadily sneaking around the ridge, making sure his presence isn't being sensed by Enigma Galaxy.
Exactly. Senatexa has that hard cover. Senatexa trying to keep these sight lines to make sure Enigma Galaxy stay pinned down. Meanwhile, Mafioso quietly sneaking up within grenade range. Enigma Galaxy are on top of each other. There goes one. Now it's up to Lord to clutch this one out. Oh, was able to take out Mafioso, but Senatexa full sending it right now.
Oh, the reply is there without a doubt. And as you mentioned, Senatexa full sending it down the line. He does have the UMP to favor him in those close range combat. Senatexa is not going to fall back, but the problem is Lord doesn't have HP favoring him, and he is trying his best to heal back up, but Senatexa is just a little too aggressive in these moments, and he will seal the deal on the final man of Enigma Galaxy. And A7 get that chicken dinner. Wow.
Let's go. Hey, did I just see you try to drop shot Senatexa? Nah, nah, not like this. Alpha 7. Winner, chicken dinner in game number 2. And I gotta say, that split at the end, Senatexa covering the position from the high ground, Mafioso trying to get within grenade range, find that little dip. That was the game-winning play here. So huge congrats to them, but also congrats to Enigma Galaxy. Ton of kills, ton of placement points as well, Necro.
Dude, insane game, insane game. 10 limbs from the side of A7, Enigma Galaxy as well. Some rookie mistakes being made, honestly. When they had that one man being taken out from that split, as you mentioned, the insurance, when it got taken away from them, I feel like they should have at least tried to stay to group up a little bit, but they should have also had a little bit of sensible split between them.
Well, it is what it is. That was only game number 2, Miramar. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Let's hear what the analysts have to say about that game.
Well, you better not go anywhere, because we have a lot to say about that last match. Thank you very much, Necro and Mustache Dave, for covering that one. I can already see out of the corner of my eye, 7 extremely happy about Alpha 7 taking home a chicken dinner, taking home a good amount of eliminations, but also for Senatexa, he played last year here at PMGC, or the first year at PMGC, well, PMCO, Fall Split Global Finals, let me get the entire name out there. He played back then, and he's shown he's got what it takes to compete, and got what it takes to get them victories.
He's been one of the most veteran players out of the Americas, and I mean, he's showcasing it. He's actually continuing to improve. He's not just being stagnant, he's been able to improve. He's now becoming a clutch player, as we were able to see right there for this team. And I mean, this is huge for Alpha 7, because if I'm not mistaken, in the next one, we're going to be going to Sandhawk, and there's going to be a lot of spicy stuff that we're going to be talking about in a bit. But for Alpha 7, I mean, I do hope they're able to carry that momentum. This is a team that's usually really well at carrying that momentum. If they're able to maintain that, it's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, I think especially you have some players that are very hesitant to go to that first-person mode towards the end there, but going into that FVP moment in that 1v1 was just clutch. In that smoke moment, you're going to have that information first, and you're instantly going to be able to get in that spray mode. Good execution from Senatexa, feeling confident towards the end to secure the win. That's what we want to see in those finishing moments.
Yeah, and also give a shout out to Enigma Galaxy, right? This team, we really kind of criticized a lot when it came to the league stage. They just really didn't seem to pick up a lot of eliminations. They mostly got their points early on was just placement points, but they get a lot of limbs here. They get second place as well. We'll take a look at the points they get here in just a few seconds, but this was a strong start for them as well here in match 2.
Yeah, I had a big question mark coming into this. Sure, they're Sanhok, they show what they can do, but you only have 3 Sanhok games, so I want to see if they can bring some consistency to the table on Miramar and also Erangel. They got 2 second places here. They're able to get 21 total points on this game, but once again, Alpha 7 able to get 10 eliminations, and it was not given, right, 7. They were consistently fighting onto the western side, creating opportunities, getting that high ground, and then pushing hard at the end was Mafioso trying to go for that flank. It was an interesting idea. Mafioso did go down, but man, they were fighting tooth and nail for that game.
It kind of worked out great that they were able to just switch one player from each other, right?
Yeah.
One got knocked, the other player got knocked too, so that helped out Alpha 7 in a huge way. And I love that Senatexa didn't just take the time to wait and see what happened. He just decided to push on the buggy and make sure he was able to get that chicken there. So that was really an impressive play out of Senatexa, and I mean, that shows why he is that veteran player out of Alpha 7. Another team I really want to talk about is Team Secret. I feel like the difference from what we saw in the first game to this game, it was night and day. I love the pushes they were able to do.
Yeah.
They seem more coordinated. They seem more working together, and it was just lovely to see. And they were able to finish off some of those fights without getting any of their players eliminated.
Yeah, in particular, I think Team Secret was super opportunistic in this game because this circle continuously going towards that ocean, like very rarely happens, by the way, on these map of Miramar. They were super opportunistic because you had all these teams. You had Stalwart, 628, Finad Batshit, Enigma Galaxy, you had also Nova that were all coming down in their position, and they picked up almost every single elimination on teams that were trying to make that rotation happen. So good on Team Secret, willing to take the fight when it comes their way.
Well, we can see here our overall rankings from our first 2 matches being played so far. And Stalwart Esports still maintaining that #1 position only by 3 points. But that's also a really good idea, or at least shows us a good thing about Enigma Galaxy. Haven't won a match, but they're still second place. They're still ahead of Alpha 7, who didn't have a good first match. They're able to put up a consistent performance so far, and that's a great sign for this team.
We talked a lot, especially in the Eastern League, about how the Arabic region has been able to continuously improve, and potentially the region improved the most, I would say, throughout the past year, and doing some big gestures because it's how impressive it's actually been for this team. And they've proven it here. If they can perform on the PMGC international stage, I think that they're really going to put the Arabic region on the map, and they've really done so in big fashion so far.
Speaking of big fashion, 7, don't worry, you'll talk in a second here. You guys can see the CD key for the PMGC token. It's getting ever so close to being finished off for this very first day. We can get yourself 1,200 tokens if you redeem it at PUBGmobile.com/redeem. But also, we're already up to 800,000 viewers here. We got 200,000 to go, so tell your friends, tell your family, tell your significant others, maybe tell your pets as well if they do have a phone, hopefully for them a OnePlus. So tune in, because we're going to be giving away a lot of prizes for everyone else out there at home. 7, though, let's talk about it. Let's continue the conversation.
With this one, I mean, the team I actually want to talk about is going to be a little bit different with what we're talking about them in regards to Erangel. I'm going to be talking about Godlike. I noticed this is now the second match that they decide to play the blue zone, and it's making it so they're not able to have any mistakes. If they have a mistake, they're going to be losing a player, whether it's by the damage of the zone that they're receiving, but they're not being actually allowed to create any rotations. I don't know if maybe they need to start moving in towards the circle a little bit faster, but so far, they got super lucky on that Erangel, right? With Jonathan being able to clutch up and being able to get those ilms, but here in this last game in Miramar, it totally backfired too.
Yeah, I think you just need a little bit more time. We said it right. You need just a little bit more experience. I think this first day is going to be a little bit of test for them. Try and see if they're going to test the waters, see if they can potentially go for a playstyle that works. Blue, not working out so far for them so far, so we'll see if they can try and potentially adapt a little bit more in the next games to come.
I mean, there's still a lot of matches left to go. We still have 16 over the next 3 days, but you are running out of them, right? If you want to be the team coming in first place, win the $1.5 million, you can't really afford to have too many bad matches, but you're allowed to have the 1 or 2. And before we do even continue throughout the show, we have another recap coming up here in just a few seconds. Not sure again what team it's going to be quite just yet, but you know what? I'm probably going to assume it's going to be Alpha 7 since they won the whole thing there.
They have to be. I would be surprised if we actually not going to be talking about them. And another player I wanted to talk about with Alpha 7, Carrillo. We were actually able to see him there. He got super close to the point where he got knocked, and this is something that we were talking about before this show, Max. It was how they are so used to just sending out Carrillo to scout for them because he's usually one of the main fraggers for that team, right? But it can also backfire because if he gets caught in a peculiar situation, you're going to be losing a player of the caliber of Carrillo. Luckily for them, that didn't happen in the last match.
Yeah, we were a little bit scared, potentially them using Carrillo could hurt their chances of getting these big wins pretty significantly. But the cool thing is that now Senatexa has that fragging potential, right? And he has been coming in clutch, especially in that finish going in that FPP mode. So don't need Carrillo, you can have the rest of the team carry.
They might look small there on that mini-map, but they're big players in game here as we are taking a look at Mafioso, as we were talking about before as well. Some early fights happening for Alpha 7. And again, for this team, I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders being the best team for this entire year from Brazil. We talk about Star Wars Esports being the team from Mongolia, but this team also has that same kind of pressure on their shoulders, and can they live up to it? Well, I mean, we're seeing they're starting to do so, and they're able to do quite well in 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, and not even Brazil is actually, sorry, I'm going to go back to Alpha 7, is actually their best team from the Americas. They were definitely the most consistent team out of the Americas.
Destroyed Americas.
It wasn't even close. So that's what a lot of people are looking towards this team, to seeing how they're going to be performing towards the East. Because in Americas, as I do cover that area, everybody just looks at the East teams like they're just godly. They cannot be touched. But now, I mean, for Alpha 7 to be able to get this chicken dinner here in the 2nd match is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And we're actually going to be seeing the exact execution towards the end of that game. It was Senatexa, it was Mafioso. Senatexa, towards that end moment there, waiting onto the backside and trying to allow his teammate, which is Mafioso, to actually get a little bit closer in. So I think that position, going for that 1-1 split, was perfectly executed. Those smokes were greatly played from Nigma Galaxy, but when you get close, you just throw a few nades, and that's pretty much done and dusted. Mafioso, unfortunately, does get knocked, but then it turns to the 1v1, and then that great FPP play from Senatexa was just clutch at the end.
And that's what I was talking about. Senatexa wasted no time in making sure he went for that push. As soon as Mafioso was already getting knocked down, Senatexa went for it. And right here, this is something that you were talking about, and I personally use it when I play PUBG Mobile myself, Max, is I like to switch to that FPP view, especially in this close quarter, because it's just going to give you such a huge advantage. As you can see right there, Senatexa being able to clutch up, and he is becoming that clutch up player, which is great. We've been talking about teams having just more than one superstar. Alpha 7 is looking like they have a deep roster.
I did also like how Mafioso was kind of off towards the side there, right? On the other side of the road. The information he gains, even while being knocked, is so good for Senatexa to be able to capitalize off that position, take home the victory, and get them one step closer to that $1.5 million. Now, I'm not going to be too harsh here.
Oh, no.
4 rivals you had as a team to watch, right? How did they do?
I mean, it was Alpha 7. I mean, they're too good. Come on. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the main issue that we have with 4 rivals. They get close to a potential good position, and then I have the impression they stress in some way, shape, or form, and they just unfortunately have a complete blunder. Happen once again here versus Alpha 7, and they are a team that needs to have structure. You give them structure, they could potentially get wins, but it's just not happening yet.
I mean, we've seen good things out of them, to be fair, but they were always that team that couldn't close out matches, and when you want to be the top of the table, right, you have to be able to close out matches. You can't be really good at placements. You can't be just really good at eliminations. You have to have that great marriage. You got to get down that one knee, pop the ring on, pop the question, and be able to pull that off if you want to be able to win $1.5 million. But a team who wants to win $1.5 million is actually going to be Stalwart Esports. Start off the day strong, and luckily for us, we do have an interview coming up with them in just a second.
Hello from Singapore, the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, of course, the grand finals. With me now from Stalwart Esports. Hello, Action, right here. Nice to see you. Hello, hello. And we've got, of course, coach and translator and manager here. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. A few quick questions, a quick fire round. You guys have been very competitive in the first 2 games. How did you prepare for the grand finals?
Эхний 2 тоглолт маш мундаг байлаа. Тэгээд Grand Final юу бэлдсэн бэ гэнэ.
Ер нь бол тоглолтынхаа юу тактикийг бол ер нь хэлж болохгүй. Тэгээд бид нар энэ тэмцээн дээр ер нь хамаг чадхаараа үзээд заавал чемпион болохыг гэж байна.
Okay, he say he not want to tell the tactic of our game.
Of course.
But he say we can try our best for coming to champion.
Now, you guys also played well in the league stage. So in your opinion, what's the biggest difference between the grand finals and the league stage so far?
Okay, so league stage-ийн тоглолт нь одоо ингээд league stage grand final хоёрын тоглолт нь ялгаа нь юунд байна гинэ.
League stage-ийн тоглолт grand final-ын тоглолт нь ер нь бол grand final нь дэлхийн бүх шилдэгүүд цугласан гэж хэлж болно доо.
He say is different because grand final is all the team in the world, 21, the best team in the world. So league stage is only for each team, right?
Right.
And this is the biggest difference.
That's right, of course, the sizing of the teams. Now, when it comes to the championship, who do you think is your biggest competitor? I'd love to know as well.
Okay. Одоо энэ тэмцээний хамгийн том өрсөлдөгч нь юу вэ гинэ?
Хамгийн том өрсөлдөгч гэвэл бид нар өөрсдөө юм уу да. Өөрсдөө даваад энэ тэмцээнд авраг болоод гэртээ бахархалтайгаар арихыг хүсэж байна ер нь л.
He say all team is the best, all team is good, but the real adversary for us is ourselves.
You gotta pick yourself.
Because yeah, in the game we can have so many error, but this is for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because you can have so many error, and if we don't have some error, it's good, and we can take the trophy of PMGC and go home.
That's right. Hey, all the best. And thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Let's say a big hello and goodbye from Singapore. Thank you.
Hello, and hopefully not goodbye for too long here. Great to hear from them, actually, talking to Action and who their biggest opponent was themselves.
That's deep.
That is deep. I know. So, and you brought this up when we were watching the interview, Max, because you did reach out to them, and they told you it was a different team, right, originally?
Yeah, they said it was Alpha 7 because of their main drop on boot camp. We could talk about that for absolute ages. The DPS fights and everything is insane. Like, you definitely want to look out for that Sunhawk game. But yeah, Alpha 7 is also their big competitor from the Western side.
But
and
maybe.
it could happen.
Maybe after they see Alpha 7 play, they're like, they're not that big of a deal. Eh?
Nah, they're gonna drop each other.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if they're gonna drop each other in just a few moments. We're gonna head to a short break here and get things ready for our third match of the day.
Every second that I breathe is going down in history. We are victorious, can't stop me. Maybe today we'll fight our battles, show you the way if you can handle it. You follow me.
PMGC 2021 Grand Finals.
Grand Finals.
To glory.
And we are back. We told you it wasn't going to be too long of a break, and it wasn't indeed. And we're ready to get into our next match of the day as things are to get very moist on...
I love that word.
He loves the word. It used to freak him out, but he loves it now. I'm glad to hear that, Max. But things will get really interesting when we get over to Sandhawk for multiple reasons, right? We have potential hot drops.
Yep.
But also, if we look back on East, we've had so many, or two teams in particular, be so consistent in how they play, but also their style. Enigma Galaxy, Maroof, Heal in the blue. Infinity just plays top 3 every time, because that's what they seem to always do.
Yeah, it's the Infinity playstyle coming onto this one, right? But the one we want to talk about especially is going to be that hot drop.
Yes.
That hot drop is going to be insane. It's going to be going through in boot camp. It's going to be Alpha 7. It's going to be Star Wars. Two teams that currently both got a win right now, and they're going to fight it out super early in that game. And in the scrims, they made it happen. It got close a lot of the times. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know right now.
Which gun was it? Which gun was it?
It was the DBS.
Yes.
You know it. It's DBS
my.
fight in boot camp. Hell yeah. That's all.
I mean, the thing is, right? Do you legitimately think we're gonna have a hot drop though?
Yes.
Yes.
But the thing is, why would you risk something like that again with so few matches to be played? And you know, if you lose that one match, or you go out early in that one match, you could be ruining your chance to win a $1.5 million. So
Yeah.
Okay, so with Alpha 7, that's pretty much their main Sandhawk gameplay that we have seen for all year. I don't think I've ever seen him drop anywhere that is not Sandhawk. And I mean, Bootcamp and Sandhawk. And the reason why I say that is because they love to go towards the mountain a little bit south of Bootcamp, and they just like to gatekeep and dominate that area.
Yeah, it's a really good position to go for, but that's the thing. There's a clear opportunity for Stalwart to do a very similar rotation also to get access to that high ground hilltop. Just go Trifecta. I mean, it was Reject who used to play that position every single time in Sandhawk, and they would have a good amount of success in that position. Trifecta is not contested right now. If this fight goes wrong for one of these two teams and you want to try and catch up on your next 2 Sandhawk games, Trifecta is a go-to area for one of these two teams.
the thing is for me is that this is the least played map.
Yep.
Least played Battleground in the entire event. You play it 3 times throughout these days. Being one of those teams who can be consistent and pick up points so consistently for me is like such a really cool thing to see. Typically you'll see teams, I mean, Erangel is the most played map, period. Every team should generally have a good understanding, but for some reason for me, in my head, Infinity always have it figured out. And I don't think we even figured out what the reason was, but they're always so consistent on a map that is coined as being the most difficult and RNG map out there.
Yeah, I think the main reason why you see this team perform so well is every single one of their players is able to frag out big time, and having 4 players that have that big fragging potential in a fight where you could have third parties happening, you need to all have that potential, even if you're an IGL, or even if you're support. That fragging potential is actually huge and is what enabled them to get these, as you mentioned earlier, right, Jason, those top 3 finishes very consistently. So I think that's the reason for their success, but you have other teams from the western side that have that fragging potential, so it's not going to be all that easy here.
And one of those teams is actually going to be SGG. So during our West League, we had a lot of encounters in regards to hot drops between SGG and Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming is nowhere to be seen here, right? So now SGG is going to have that extra time. Oh my.
Damn.
Now SGG, damn son. Now SGG is going to have that extra time to be able to loot, to be able to figure out which way they're going to be rotating. And I think it's going to play in their favor. If we do get somewhat of a northeast circle, it's going to favor them big time.
Okay, well, speaking of favoring you, can help you guys improve your own game. For the OnePlus 9 Pro, you guys can pick up that one with its ultra smooth gaming at 90 FPS. It can help take you to the next level, and you never have to settle when using OnePlus. That's how I improve my gameplay. If Max was using that phone, he probably would have qualified for PMCO. Yeah, you know I had to bring it up. Come on, every PUBG Mobile event, it's literally in my contract. I'm allowed to rip on Max for not qualifying for PMCO.
Yeah, I tried. Okay,
You did try.
The bots were too good.
To be fair, the reason I won't play against Max is because I don't want to lose to him, because I lose to someone who could even qualify for PMCO.
Ooh. Yeah.
Might not. Wait, I need to look through it. Okay, we're starting early. Okay, they're ripping in. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, of course, it's how it's gonna go.
I didn't
Help me
even
out,
try.
Seven,
No,
please.
no, I didn't even try. Listen, I am the #1 bot in PUBG Mobile, okay? Don't even try.
Oh, that was you in PMCO. Okay.
Okay. Also, shout out to Fairmont Singapore for catering with the highest degree of pampering here at PMGC. And really quick, we have to get into our teams to watch as well, because this, for us, I think is a really interesting one, because we're really diverse in our selections here. I'll start things off. I went with the Infinity. As kind of mentioned before, this team has been kind of the most consistent team I've ever seen in PUBG Mobile history on Sandhawk, the most difficult battleground out there. So that for me is why they're a team to watch. If they want to place top 3, if they want to place first overall in the event, I feel like they need to have those performances, those strong performances on Sandhawk. Max?
That's a big surprise. I think he never picked Infinity in like the history
Never
of PUBG
have.
Mobile.
First time.
He's
First
never
time.
done that. No, I'm going to go with Enigma Galaxy because team to watch, not team to win. So I think that they can go well. If Ralph is in the blue, you know he's going to get second place. So it's going to be Enigma
I mean,
Galaxy.
that's important, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
if you can be so consistent, even just healing off
They
the
got 2
blue
second
to get
places.
points, that's big.
Yeah.
Who do you got, 7?
It's going to be a big surprise. It's actually going to be Alpha 6. I'm just kidding. It's going to be Alpha 7. I mean, I have to go with them because if they do end up winning that engagement, right, they're more than likely going to end up losing some players. I would love to see how they're going to adjust to that. Are they going to continue to be aggressive if they do lose some players? Or are they just going to continue to play the way they usually play Sandhawk?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously the pride and the hopes of West, but it's time to hop into our next match of the day. So let's throw it back over to our commentators here for the last time of the day. We got Mustache Dave and Necro.
Yo, Maxman. Hey, Maxman, what are you taking notes on, man? What you writing down? Let me know. Game number 3, Sandhawk, of course, 7 representing Alpha 7. That's a big if for me, Necro. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we are predicting a Alpha 7 Stalwart Esports boot camp clash here. That's huge if they do pull it off.
Oh no, that's what I call the Clash of the Alpha Tines, dude. And this is what I'm really going to be eyeing out for. Another drop clash that is anticipated coming inside. Without a doubt, has to be Godlike and Nova. Now, both of them like to drop in Pine Ants. Are they going to be doing the same this time? That's the question.
Oh man, there's a lot of what ifs. We're going to find out right here. But talk about finding out. We got some early game action for Rivals right here. They are squaring up. Looks like they got a duo just right in the thick of it. This is near Runes, up there on that west side of the circle ship.
Oh man, here we go. Another circle kind of like just tilted down south. It's just a south day today, Dave. I don't know what's going on. All these circles just kind of tilted down south. Take-C able to make it alive on a sliver of health. Gotta thank his gods for sure for that. Thank his like stars. Without a doubt. Take-C still alive in the game. Somehow. And now over here, Dom1 Gaming and 4 Rivals. These two teams clashing against each other.
Fabian back there trying to group up with their teammates. Could really play spoiler for the duo of 4 Rivals, in my opinion. If Dam1 could just make sure to play this one slow and keep the focus on them and really spring up with that surprise factor. Dam1, the most consistent team on Sandhawk when we're looking at the East League. So this is their map. They know it front and back. Let's see what will happen. 4 Rivals looking to play spoiler to that.
Ooh, 4 Rivals. That's a beautiful split for sure. If the man who's kind of distanced himself from the rest of the pack, who also has a little bit of high ground, if he's able to find that initial knock on the Dom1 Gaming, that can change quite a lot of things. But guess what? Who finds the initial knock? It's Dom1 Gaming knocking on the doors of 4 Rivals. And there's a huge split for 4 Rivals as well. That's quite a questionable. Walt's outside the window, and he gets caught this time, and Junie's the man who will take care of him.
Yeah, and we saw it play out exactly how we expected. Fabian from behind was able to group up with their teammates, apply that additional pressure from the alternate angle. But look at this, Clutch God, UMP in hand, trying to square up with the Duke Master, the Duke and Machine with the Vector. Looks like Clutch Guard going for a nice little rotate, trying to catch an off angle here onto the Duke and Machine, who has just stayed in the corner of the compound. Looks like Clutch God might be opting to safely retract back to their teammates here, because we saw last game got like a little rough on the rotation. So we saw him lost 2 on that rotate. I have to assume they're not trying to do the same thing here.
Yeah, Clutch God indeed taking things a little safe. And so you mentioned Duke and Machine inside the house. Duke and Machine is always one of those teams. He's kind of like the silent assassin. He just likes to play as quiet as possible in these kind of moments and just wait for the opponent to make any kind of mistake. And when they do, he just strikes in.
Like, talking about mistakes, that's not a lot of games, because the reason I say that's not a lot of games, because after 16 games, there's going to be one team walking away with $1.5 million US dollars. So every single point counts. And look at this little substitution action here.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be huge, right? They're trying to change things out, trying some new things out over here. Substitution as well. just to see how things are going to be changing out for that team. But yeah, Godlike, it seems like, again, a casualty on their side. Not a good sign. Definitely going to be a sign of worry for Godlike, and I do want to see how they're going to be bouncing back from this, because the position they have right now is definitely not that great.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying. Ooh,
There we
okay,
go,
okay,
though.
that's exactly what was needed. A nice little knock there across the channel, because Jonathan is on the opposite end of this bridge looking to make a play. So looks like Neo and crew, the duo, trying to keep the eyes on them, right? Applying that pressure from that east side of the bridge. But look at this, Jonathan. Jonathan looking to make a solo play with the wide rotate. Jonathan, look. Talk about the snakes of Sandhawk. Talk about the snakes on Sandhawk. And ladies and gentlemen, we hit 1 million viewers. So shout out to you viewers out there putting in the work here, making this event a amazing moment. But back into the game. Jonathan, what happened? Jonathan, no, not what you want to see.
Indeed, not what you want to see, Jonathan. Wanted to make some insane play happen, but just did not expect a snake in the grass. And well, this is where Fenerbahce decided to bounce back inside this fight. And Godlike now left to, again, only 2 players to work with. Z-God going to be making the call to back off.
So Godlike, if I'm them right now, I want to keep the points flowing. I want to keep things going. Pull off this fight. Avoid all fights possible here this game. They're in a position that they can actually pull back. They could use the southern part of this zone to their advantage because nobody's back there, and they could swim. They can go to cave, maybe get some loot, maybe relax, catch their breath in cave. Docks are also open. Of course, they don't know that, but with some proper scouting, they might be able to spot that one out. So if I'm Godlike, try to avoid the fights here. Keep your duo alive. And if there was a map, Necro, and I think Jason touched on this a little bit talking about RNG, I'm the opposite. I don't think Sandhawk is that RNG, right? Hear me out. Necro, hear me out.
I'll hear you.
The reason I'm bringing this up, I don't think Sandhawk is that RNG because I've seen multiple times players able to hit those heals. If you know how to heal on Sandhawk and you get all the meds, top 5, 3rd place,
easy.
Even 2nd place, 1000% doable. So I put it out there. I might get a lot of heat from that. I don't know. Feel free to add to it, or feel free to be like, you're crazy, Dave. Hey, it's in your court. It's in your court. But I'm bringing that up because Godlike, they can implement that strategy. They can hunt down all the meds. They can avoid all the fights and just heal or placement points here this game.
I do understand, but I'm going to add on to it a little bit, because we did see Nova taking a couple of shots back, Paraboy, probably back down to the cover. Now, yeah, touching up on the point that you made, you think Sandhawk isn't really that RNG. Honestly, I'm with Jason over here. I really do think Sandhawk does bring quite a lot of RNG. And the reason why I'm saying that, now, if you keep the healing aspect aside of the map, I feel like even in the gunfights,
Sandhawk's all about healing. Sandhawk's all about dude. You just ripped my point apart right there. The only reason I'm saying that is because you can heal on Sandhawk.
But it's like most of the things are going to be going with the gunplay, right? Most of the things are going to be going how you're going to be rotating inside the zone. And just like what happened with Jonathan, you're going to be seeing a lot of snakes in Sandhawk. And this also means this brings kind of like RNG inside. And if you talk about the zone shifts, they're also quite drastic on the map of Sandhawk. That means if a zone is favoring a certain kind of team, if they're able to play it out to perfection, that has to be the team to pretty much take it. And Sandhawk, this is what it's really known for.
Hey, I hard disagree still. No RNG if you know how to hit them heals, man. No RNG. Oh, okay. Nice little replay right there from last game. Just in case you forgot. That is savage. If you get caught slipping, we will replay it. And we caught right there Navi with the rotate. My man, Navi looking to get into the zone here. Down 1, we saw them. They lost 1 early on, but they did pick up 2 elim points. And I'm touching back onto them because they were the most consistent team when we look at Sandhawk performance-wise from the East League.
I do understand. Yeah, they were really consistent, Navi. But again, in the final days, I feel like I feel like last day was where Navi decided to really like bounce back, and that's where they got like themselves second place in the overall rankings. This proves quite a lot about Navi. This speaks quite a lot about Navi as well. But if we talk about the Super Weekend days, Navi did not really deliver as expected. But in the finals, they definitely did quite well. As I mentioned, they got second place. But hold on. Paraboy strikes in. He's the silent assassin this time. Forrest goes down from Dam 1 Gaming, or Damson.
Could this be the start of their Paraboy show? You know, Paraboy, one of the best players, hands down, in the game. I'm sure a lot of people can agree with me. Nova Esports looking to really defend their title here. Paraboy, nice little knock right there with the UMP. Panam, they are going to keep that to themselves. So they're just going to hold it down for the time being and hope that Papa Blue continues to bless that. Looking for the solid placement points. Stalwart Esports also north of that current position. So we might have two Titans here clash very shortly. But besides that, it's a lot of individual plays here, a lot of individual knocks erupting all over the map.
And just to touch up on that RNG factor in Sonic as well, Dave.
Oh, he's coming back to it.
This is where I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
He's
16 teams in the game. 16 teams in the game. One player from each team just doing a heal battle. That means he's going to come down to RNG hoping that maybe pray to your God, that hoping that, okay, I'm going to get top 5. Just hoping. This means it's a RNG somewhere down the line, right? You're just hoping. All it comes down to is just a little hope. That means
ain't no
it is RNG. It is a part
no
of RNG
if
factor.
you know how to hit the heals, man.
Okay.
I've seen it too many times. I've seen a team just go out, look for the heals, pass it off to one player. They've been practicing the heal strat for a whole year on Sandhawk. So I'm just saying, RNG, I took that. I threw it out the window on Sandhawk. And we are going to be playing only 3 Sandhawks. Sandhawk will make up 17% of the map pool here for PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. So I feel like this map in particular can really change the tides for certain teams that haven't been performing that well. And I believe they can do that by healing for points. I'm sticking by it, Necro. You can't change my mind, man.
Okay, dude. You know what?
You can't.
I'm just gonna give up. I'm giving up.
Can't.
I'm giving up. I'm just gonna let the viewers decide, and I'm just gonna let the analysts decide who are they gonna be favoring in this kind of a little debate that we're having. But yeah, Fenerbahce in the sights of Nextruya. Nox Bomb kind of separated out, and he's also knocked out. Is the res gonna be possible? That's the question. If the res is not possible, Nox Bomb being taken out, that means Fenerbahce only left with 2 players to work with. And in the map of Sandhawk, it's going to be quite tough to make it out alive.
One last thing to mention about that. If we see a player heal this game, get solid placement points, point proven. Easy as that. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll see what happens. That's how it works. We'll see what happens late game. If we see 1 or 2 players healing and they go from like a 10th place to a 3rd place, I'm dropping the mic. I'm walking away, and you owe me a sorry in the DMs. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. So getting back into the game, though, looks like Gala, they did swim to the docks. They did get some loot, and then they swam right back to Camp Charlie here. So we're waiting to see where this next zone goes. Look at the Infinity, though, all the way up there. They're in there.
Look at 628 as well, just taking their time in rotating inside the zone, all the way from the left side. Did not want any kind of smoke with any teams. Just playing things as safe as possible, playing for their lives. Nextruya just trying to inflict some pain on Fenerbahce. I mean, Fenerbahce are already crumbling down. They're on their knees. But Nextruya just want to wipe them out of existence.
Hopefully not too soon. 16 teams alive still on this Sandhawk match. 13 minutes deep. So you play for 13 minutes. You get taken out right here, right now. 0 placement points. Like, that is rough. And when we get past the mid to late game, things are going to erupt. Paraboy, driving by the coop. Still alive. Able to avoid those sightlines by a smidge and group up with their teammates.
Nextruya still looking pretty good in the position they found themselves in. All 4 players alive. Also have a decent compound to work with. Now, what I'm really worried for over here is going to be Fenerbahce. And somewhere down the line in the future, if the circle moves pretty close to Fenerbahce, there's no way in hell Fenerbahce aren't getting charged on. And to hold the charge, to hold down the fort, Fenerbahce just doesn't have the man number. So this is where a little bit of struggle is going to be seen from the side of Fenerbahce. And I do want to see, are they going to be going for that sneaky play? This is what Duke Machine is really known for. Or are Fenerbahce going to be trying to fight back? But I'm going to hold on because Stalwart Esports, they might just be caught out in the open.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Fenerbahce point. And kind of looking at Alpha 7 here, I'm somewhat surprised that Mafioso did take those shots because looking back at Sandhawk, Alpha 7, their team, they like to lay down the trap on Sandhawk. And what I mean by that is they snake it out. They always have one player scouting the enemy, and they wait for the enemy to get past the initial front liner, and then they all pop up and hit them from all angles. So I'm a little surprised here that Mafioso did decide to kind of spoil that element of surprise here. But we shall see if it will pay off still, because Stalwart Esports are still going to be pressured out there on the edge of the play zone, and Papa Blue is slowly closing in right now.
Blue Zone, as you mentioned as well, slowly and steadily closing in. Godlike, it seems like for now they are settled inside Camp Charlie. Again, now the med strat that you really like, Dave, at this point, Godlike can definitely try and go for that if they have enough amount of meds.
We'll see. You keep bringing up the med strat, man. I'm telling you, I'm right. Don't worry about it. All right. So Order out here. Oh, we saw Order right there in the kill feed. So Stalwart Esports, Pika could really play spoiler because looks like Action going to be crawling up, and it looks like Action is going to be taking the attention of Mafioso, the one up there on the boulder. Just waiting to hit these shots. Oh, you know Action wants to take it.
Oh, of course he does.
You know
his name is Action. He's the man of action. And he wants all the action.
But look, the next zone pop. Next zone pop. So that's going to like change up this plan totally for Stalwart Esports, who were possibly looking to push uphill slowly and take the fight with A7 up there. But now all those teams in the north, they need to send it down south somehow and survive.
Talk about Godlike, though. They're going to be having a huge threat lingering on their head. Because now Fenerbahce, they as well, it seems like they're having a little bit of casualties on their name themselves, kind of stuck on the bridge. But I'm going to hold on to my word because Furious Gaming, this might just be a huge breakdown. And yes, it is. Finding one. Poppy Potro looking to find the other one. And I just like the trigger discipline from the side of Furious Gaming to let them settle inside the vehicle. And when they found the right moment to strike, they did.
Very questionable play from S2G. 4 squad mates. Four squad mates in a Ronnie. I know the next zone was somewhat shifted far from them here, but 4 squad mates in a Ronnie, they definitely open up themselves to getting exploded on in the complete elim. But Poppy Potro right there, I believe getting 2 confirmed, so that was beautiful.
Oh man, fights happening all across the board, including another fight panning out between Infinity and Na'Vi. Another huge fight. Kitsune, the only man left alive in that fight, but for now, we need to cover this one. 6-8. Man being found. The other man's just inside the house, trying to play things a little safe, trying to play for his life. He's scared to his death. Enigma Galaxy, they have a huge high ground on top of the players of 6-8, Dave.
Not only that, you talked about Godlike. They continue to be favored in these zones. That is exactly what they need. The thing is, we still have 15 teams alive, so they are not out of the thick of it as of right now. Still 0 points if they get taken out right now. But Enigma Galaxy, hot off the press from last game, they almost got that winner chicken dinner. Regardless, you got 2nd place with a ton of kills. Let's see if they can continue on with that momentum, because right now they're trying to keep out 6-8.
Ooh, and they are able to do so successfully. 6-8. Man being found, knocked out. Unfortunate outing for 6-8. Again, I do want to see what the final man is doing for 6-8. I'm pretty sure he might just be going for the heal battle. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he's all the way down south. It's Yu Yang. He's taking a sweet little time to rotate inside the zone. I'm pretty sure he's going to be meting himself back up. But Nova Paraboy being found. A huge man being taken out, and that's a legendary kill.
Yeah, it looks like Paraboy kind of decided to stay in the back lines and make sure that their teammates can securely reposition. We saw Order and Jimmy both in vehicles trying to get into this new circle. I believe Jimmy hugging that coastline, might even be snaking it right now, trying to avoid those sidelines from Nextria.
Oh, no.
We shall see if they can continue to survive here. 12 teams to go. Yeah. Jimmy, I like that spot as long as they're not going to be spotted.
As you mentioned, Jimmy's spot definitely pretty good. But again, as long as he's not being spotted. And also at the same time, he will need to leave the spot anytime soon because the wall of death is moving right behind him. And he needs to make sure that he's making his mark inside the zone as quick as possible because next Ria will 100% would want to try and hold him off at bay. So Jimmy, he needs to make his mark inside the zone. Things are getting so intense this late in the game of Sandhawk. Infinity as well kind of locked out the zone. They're also taking a lot of damage from the wall of death. A lot of pressure on all these teams, man.
Looks like Jimmy's just going to watch that one elim point kind of slip through their fingers out there in the distance, but surviving is definitely better than that one elim point. So the Infinity out here, down here towards the south, trying to make their way on into the play zone. But first, they're going to be popping up, backstabbing Xavier. At the end of the day, though, you got Nextria kind of gatekeeping this whole side of the zone. I don't see any of these teams currently in the blue coming out on top with Nextria still alive, pumping out those numbers, currently with 8 elim points to their name.
Oh, my God. Just look at the circle shift as well, Dave. Out in the open. Kind of close to Fenerbahce. Enigma Galaxy, they've already made their mark inside, but Fenerbahce, they have a huge pressure on their shoulders because we do see Nextria closing their distance from the back. Nextria will get this bridge control easily, but bridge control also means you're going to be exposed from quite a lot of angles.
Enigma Galaxy, a.k.a. the Zone Magnets here. The Zone Magnets, they know how to pick these spots. And down one, taken out right there. Enigma Galaxy, they got a second place last game. So they still got 4 up this game. Let's see if they can clutch out that winner chicken dinner that they were so close to acquiring last match.
Dave, but Jimmy can be the game changer for Enigma. If he's even able to take 2 players out for Enigma, this can change the entire tide. Look at how safe and look at how silent and how quiet Jimmy's being with the position he has for himself. He has a lot of info, and I'm pretty sure he's trying his best to hold the nerve for this gun. The zone as well, the wall of death kind of engulfing him. He needs to make his mark inside the zone. So much pressure on this solo man.
Got him! Oh, the Duke machine knew for a fact they were going to get taken out. Jimmy, though, yeah, to your point, could play spoiler, but remember, Jimmy's by themselves. So Jimmy will not have any help if they do decide to expose their position. That's why I believe Jimmy's going to be trying to heal up right now. Currently 5 teams to go. Enigma Galaxy with 4. Nextria with 4. Everybody else down to a solo.
Oh, man, Jimmy needs to move inside the zone, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be exposed doing so. And yep, as I mentioned, Freak spots a little glimpse, and that's going to be enough. Jimmy being taken care of, no while at the game. Top 4 teams alive, Dave. And this is where it gets a little bit more intense. Nextria taking little shots onto themselves. It's a 4-on-4 situation in here.
Yeah, 4 teams to go. Nextria, they are going to be tossing out some smokes to try to bridge that gap, get behind that hard cover of the boulder within grenade range. You're trying to connect these grenades onto Lord, who is doing the same exact thing. But look at over there on that off angle. Looks like Frozen trying to reposition. Freak is on their knees in a smoke. They're looking for that pickup. But this is going to be a solid 4v4 right here. And Moody, I love this spot. Talk about the intel that they're able to gather right there behind that boulder.
Oh, man, but the pressure's on Nextria without a doubt because Enigma Galaxy, they just seem that they have so much confidence, also a little bit of high ground to work with, and they're able to turn it into a victory without a doubt. And now it's just down to the Infinity and Xavier, and they're just going for those heal battle. Okay, Dave, please. I do not want to hear it. I do not want to hear it, Dave. Just stay quiet, please.
Hey, talk about the heal. Xavier, Infinity. That's the strat, man. You're down to a solo. Just heal it out for these placement points. And it pays off big time. I'm telling you. Look at the points. They're going to shift so much on the overall leaderboard because the 3rd place is 10 points and the 2nd place is 12 points. So this is exactly what these 2 squads needed here for the overall.
Oh man, exactly what these two squads needed, and finally,
dancing.
The final man is going to be falling down as well. And yeah, Enigma Galaxy, they just know, they're dancing at this point, just throwing a little bit of moves as well. This is just the victory dance right there, ladies and gentlemen. And Enigma Galaxy are going to be your winners of the map of Sandhawk just in no time. He only has 2. Now the final first aid is going to be utilized.
Shout out to Freak right there. Enigma Galaxy, they got a 2nd place last game, a bunch of kills. They got 8 elim points this game, and a winner-winner chicken dinner that nets you 15 points. Enigma Galaxy, they are straight slaying it here so far on day number 1. And with 3 more matches to go here today, I have to assume the team, Enigma Galaxy, their mental, their confidence right now has to be at an all-time high.
Oh, it has to be, without a doubt. I'm in the zone as well, as you mentioned, favoring them, and this is the exact reason why they won. Again, I mean, Dave, here also kind of my point got proven, right? I mean, the zone got gifted Enigma Galaxy. All they needed to do was just make the mark in there. They did easily. All the teams that were outside the zone couldn't really make it inside the zone in time because there was just so many guys watching each other out, and Enigma Galaxy were easily able to conquer that game of Sandhawk.
The thing is, I don't know how much you can say it was gifted because now this is two games in a row where they picked the position very early on, they held it down, and they rotated accordingly. And then they just ended up with 4 alive late game. Like, there's just too much luck out there to say, oh, they're being lucky, compared to, like, this is planned in advance, in my opinion. But regardless, we'll see what will happen in the next 3 matches. Necro, it was a phenomenal match of Sandhawk. Let's hear what the desk had to say. Will they rip me on my my Medstrat take? Let's find out.
Mustache Dave, I can never rip you. Thank you two gentlemen for putting on a phenomenal cast, actually. Phenomenal match, phenomenal casting done by you two gentlemen. Enigma Galaxy being phenomenal over the course of this entire event so far. I don't know if it's just Mustache Dave and Necro luck, but Enigma Galaxy 7, I believe you said 2nd place game 1, 2nd place game 2, chicken dinner game 3. Is this the team with the region, as Max said, has been the most improved this last year, who's going to take home $1.5 million?
It definitely has. I mean, remember last year, PMGC, right? We had Zeus, came out of nowhere. This could be it with Enigma Galaxy as well. And not only just the 2nd place, I'm also very impressed at the amount of ilims they've been able to get. On the first match, they were only able to get just 1 ilim, but then on the 2nd match, they were able to improve so much and being able to get 9 ilims. And in this last one, 8 ilms as well. I think that improvement is huge.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue I had actually with Enigma Galaxy in the past, is they would not be fragging out, getting those eliminations consistently, but here they actually, I think they saw that circle at the end, like, wait, it actually came our way. Like, we're not used to this. We're actually in the circle in Sandhawk. What's going on right now?
Yeah.
And they just fragged out. They made sure that Next Rio were not able to push in that game, but also Next Rio had a great game, but not able to make it happen
it was
because
like
that
11
push,
elims.
yeah, I think it was, but that push was so hard, and Next Rio just unfortunately got completely shut down by that push from Enigma. So Enigma played it so well at the end.
Yeah, and I think they kind of showed us some depth in their play, right? Every time on Sandhawk, I feel like they always played heel off. They always like, Aruf, take all of our first aids, go out in the blue, we'll see you later, we'll see you next match. But they actually showed, hey, if they can play towards the zone, they can do fairly well. They get themselves 8 eliminations, so 23 points in total. They were 2nd place going into this match. I guarantee you they're going to be 1st place coming out. But also, next Rio, as you mentioned, Max, 11 eliminations, but also Infinity. Again, showing how consistent they can be on a map like Sandhawk.
Yeah, they were playing on the eastern side of the bridge. Of course, that circle at the very end, I think it was phase 8 that went over to the western side in favor, of course, of Enigma Galaxy, as you saw in that game. So they just understood, okay, we're not going to make that cross happen because we're not going to have that third party. It's not going to work out. Give all the first aids over to Goltani and heal off. I think he had maybe like around 10 first aids towards the end of that game, but they were still trying to get those eliminations early on. Was a little bit lackluster in terms of eliminations, but still able to get a top 3. You talked about it earlier, right, Jason, how they can consistently make into the podium finish is because of their adaptability. No matter if they have to go aggressive or heal off, they are going to go for the right play 99% of the time.
And team that definitely got some points that needed it was for Rivals. They ended up, I believe, with 7 points, and it ended up being 6 out of those points were ilim. So I think that's huge for them. It's definitely gonna kind of break off that downslope that they were on. And another thing, as we are seeing the MVP right here, Nihat, can we talk about Max? The hot drop that we were hyping up for the longest time, and just how correct Jason was as telling us it wasn't gonna happen.
I'm the analyst now.
You're gonna make me cry.
let's be honest, right? There is that potential for hot drops, but realistically, it just shouldn't happen right now because it's too risky.
Yeah. It's their usual playstyle, which is normally drop boot camp, go to the southern position towards boot camp. They didn't go for that exact spot, but it's very close. They just cut away the middleman and just made sure we're just going to drop in that position, get the loot there, and remain in that position for a big portion of the game, which worked out pretty significantly at the start of it, but unfortunately, as you saw, they didn't make it to that top 3 podium finish, though. You talked about it, Jason. First place with 57 points going to be Nigma Galaxy. How consistent are these guys right now? This is not what I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what we saw to them. Remember, they had 47 points at the end of the very first Super Weekend. Out of 15 matches played, 47 points. They've already broken that in 3 matches here in the Grand Finals. I think that really is a testament to how much they've improved here since the league stage, but also more importantly that they are a formidable force.
You know which other team I'm looking at here
Alpha
that
7.
I'm getting a little bit worried about? No.
Navi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Navi. And going back to the main reason what I was saying earlier is this is a team that's not able to carry momentum at all. And with the currently downslope that they're playing on, this is reminding me exactly how they started off Wesley. And we haven't even played some of the other Erangels. I am very interested to see, now that I know Alpha 7 is willing to adjust, now that I know they're willing to not put that ego, I mean, I guess 1.5 million will do that to you. But it's going to be interesting if Navi's going to be able to take advantage of that.
Also, shout out to Deke Xavier. I think we gave him a lot of criticism in the finals of like maybe not deserving of that second place finish, but hey, they're currently in top 8 at the moment. And also for you guys at home, not only are we talking about players getting rewards and getting victories, you guys have already pulled off a big victory here for the entire stream. We have hit the 1 million viewers. You can see the token, see the key at the very top of your screen. Head over to PUBGmobile.com/redeem to redeem those and get 1,200 tokens that you can use to buy yourself some lucky things. But anyways, we still, maybe tomorrow, maybe we'll bump it up. Maybe we'll do like, if we hit 2 million live viewers, Maxman will shave his head live on stream here. I got Clippers back at the hotel.
Yes.
Maybe we can make it happen.
Yes.
We're not going to do that.
Oh, no,
I'm all for
we
this.
can try to make it work. We'll see if we can talk to Tencent.
It's already
maybe bump
halfway
it up.
there. It's fine. Just got to get rid of the rest.
I mean,
Is that a yes? You're going to do it?
no, don't. I'm helping you. Don't
I'll think about
don't
it.
say anything. Yeah,
Oh,
there we go. That's
we'll
best.
think about
That's
it.
best. But what about some other teams? Maybe surprises, maybe letdowns. We were talking about Navi a little bit.
Furious Gaming. I'm actually really surprised with this team. This is a team that relied heavily on their chicken dinners as they were able to back up. And I'm going back to the West right here, PMGC West. They had 2 chicken dinners, and those 2 chicken dinners with 19 ilms. They rely heavily on that. Remember, Max, we were talking about that. And right now, so far, I mean, they started off the day pretty well in that Erangel, but so far, nothing's working for them. And if they want to be that first place team, they just can't be relying on hopefully getting a chicken dinner and hopefully trying to get 19 ilms, because the way the lobby is right now, I don't see that happening.
I think they had, what was it, 46 eliminations in 3 games where they got the chicken dinners. You take those 3 games away, they don't qualify for this tournament, right? So we need to see more consistency. The games that are not happening, if they can get maybe 3, 4 eliminations here and there, a few extra positioning points, that is the type of consistency that will allow you to potentially get closer. And when you get those big games, that's going to forward you up in potentially the top 3, top 5 positions. So we need to see a big step up from Furious, because right now they've just been a little bit too silent, in my opinion.
Well, I could throw another one at you. We're talking about a team who might not have qualified without those 2 big wins with eliminations. What about 628 from PEL, qualifying in the very last match of the entire event? They're currently bottom of the table at the moment.
Yeah, that was thanks to Yu Yang, but we haven't seen much of Yu Yang and all of his 628 so far, unfortunately. I'm going to pay close attention to them next game, because they just go out super early and they just get taken out outside of the circle. I'm going to look exactly what's going wrong, because it's just nothing's sticking right now.
Well, I bring them up also because we were talking over dinner yesterday. We were talking about like teams we expect to do well and teams that could be the underdog that could do well. And 628 was your choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to bash on you in whatsoever, but what I'm saying is like they're really having a hard time right now, which is surprising because teams from China are so strong. But you know what? We'll get into that a little bit later on. We do have a recap coming up at you here in just a few seconds. And again, I'm going to assume it's going to be our victors. I'm going to assume it's going to be Enigma Galaxy. And we'll see here in just a second if it's going to be happening.
I would love to see how they're going to be.
You went from really smiley to
rotations.
serious really fast.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that rotation. Right? I was paying attention close to the hot drop at the start of the game. It didn't happen, and then he just kind of fell down from there. Also, STE and Alpha 7, I feel like maybe hot dropping each other might have been the play in that last one, because it didn't really actually end up working out for them. Oh man, you got me.
We saw you real
You
high
guys
there for a
got me.
second.
I was hoping. I was ready for that recap. It didn't happen, Jason.
Get off that box. We know now.
Hey, hey.
We know it's there. No, we're going to be looking towards the late game circles, and this is actually a circle that's pretty tricky to play, I would say, because here's just a full commit. Or we go to the eastern side, or you go to the western side, and depending on where the circle goes, you have a very big chance of confirming that win. And you're looking at this, you're thinking that there's no way it's going to go to the western side, right? The odds are it's going to go towards Quarry, it's going to go towards
You wanted to see Cave.
the cave position, which I love those cave finishes. Didn't quite happen this time, and this is the moment Nigma Galaxy were like, wait, are we 4 men alive in circle at this stage of the game? That just doesn't happen, and they just had all the teams come their way and just pick it up one by one as they were going to the market in the morning.
But they played it so well right there. They decided to stay outside the circle. They decided to just wait and see how some of the other teams were playing. I mean, they waited perfectly for Next Ria. I was actually surprised. Next Ria had 4 players themselves. All of a sudden, I blink and they're gone.
Yep.
In a matter of just 1 second, Max.
Yeah, though Next Ria, if you want to say one thing that was really strong from them, they went for a fantastic push onto Fined Batches. I think we're holding a big portion of that bridge, so they knew they had to commit to that position. They held it well. They made sure that, for example, Infinity could not make that cross happen, but when it came to pushing on a position that was already locked down by Nigma Galaxy, they had that little high ground position, that little hilltop. In third-person mode, you know that position is going to be even more valuable, and they could not make things, make ends reach at the very end. So yeah, Nigma Galaxy able to make it as a 4-man, get themselves a win with 8 eliminations on top of that. If they can make this happen on other maps too, they already got themselves 2 second places. If they can get wins on now Miramar and Erangel, I'm going to be pumped for the Arabic team because they might be able to make it in first place here.
I can definitely see it happening. We're not seeing it here, but during this game, I was looking at Godlike. Remember how I was talking about that was the team that was going to rotate in late. They got blessed with this circle, but it seemed like they just weren't able to take advantage of it. They did only have 2 players, as we saw Jonathan being able to just kind of get caught as they were rotating. But I was hoping we would be able to see a little bit more. It seemed that they just, once again, they waited too late to be able to position themselves for the next circle. So hopefully they'll be able to acknowledge that and start changing it.
Oh, you can really see the POV here coming out. That spread from Nigma Galaxy just made to make sure there was no angles from which Next Ria could actually enter from. That is good. They went for, I think that was a 1-2-1. Yeah, there was a 1-2-1, and they were just making sure they had all of that position locked down and then got turning, trying to make it in. The emotes, of course, in class because you know that was in the back.
It's so funny because normally the coin or the foot, the shoes on the other foot, the coins flip this in the other hand. I don't remember the saying. Usually it's like Infinity who's like in the zone waiting to finish off the game, and Enigma Galaxy are out there healing. But this time it was Infinity out there healing, and Enigma Galaxy just sit there dancing, waiting for their victory, waiting for that chicken dinner, obviously waiting to potentially take home $1.5 million. But we still have so many matches to come, right? We're only at the halfway point of the day. It's 6 matches a day until we do have our victor across 3 days, and we're gonna find some other teams to step up. I feel like, yes, we're seeing some consistency at the top. We've seen Infinity do relatively well. We've seen Enigma Galaxy do relatively well, Alpha 7 as well. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, things will be shifted up.
Yes.
Not because I know the script, not because I know what's going to happen, because
You read it again?
I did read it again.
You read it again.
I learned how to read. But it's more about there's still so many good teams. And there's still so much action to happen. But it's coming up after a short break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes before we get into our 4th match.
Homes are now where we work, learn, and, play? Oops. Homes are where we build spaces
So loud.
to call our own. Power on and beyond with Singapore's most trusted broadband. I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back, everyone, here for some more PUBG Mobile action. We are halfway done with our day, but not halfway done with the event. So don't worry, you didn't miss out on too much. And if you did, it doesn't matter. You can hit the rewind button. You can go back and watch it yourselves and recap what happened throughout the day before we get into our second day of play, which is still coming up. When, Max?
Tomorrow.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were listening. I'm glad. I was a little bit nervous, and I think I saw a look in your eyes like, oh God, what did he just ask me?
Like 1 + 1, 2, tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do have Aaron Go coming up next, so we can see here a quick little recap of our highest damage dealers in the last match. But you actually see, I mean, you have Z-God in there coming in from Godlike, you have Nihat coming in from Nextruya, you have no one from Enigma Galaxy actually there, even though they had 8 eliminations.
Because they wanted to play the blue. That's the thing. They wanted to play the blue, but the things did not go as planned for them, and it's fine. It worked out great. They had 4 players, got themselves a chicken dinner, exactly what you want to see. Though we didn't talk too much about Godlike in this game, I like the initiative to try and go for Camp Charlie. It's not positioned as super common to play early on, right? And you saw the circle continuously going down south towards that cave position, which I hoped it would have gone. Unfortunately, it didn't quite towards the end, but they lost 2 players early on, but it was a good idea. It's a position that they took a risk, and it almost paid off.
I would like to continue to see the changes, though.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. You can see like the breakdown of points actually between the teams. I mean, Enigma Galaxy, they have a lot of placements and not a lot of eliminations here. I think it was only 19, but 19 actually, to be fair, is still a ton. But anyways, you guys at home who are watching, when you watch PMGC, you know every single time we get to the grand finals, we have a lovely little video and an announcement of what's coming up in this next year. We have James Yang yet again coming in, the director of PUBG Mobile Global Esports, to tell us what's in store here for 2022. We had our predictions of what the prize pool is going to be. We'll see which one's going to be right as we take a look at this.
PUBG Mobile fans across the world, I'm James Yang, the director of PUBG Mobile Global Esports. Well, we've already seen 5 amazing years of PUBG Mobile action. Today, I'm here with you to announce some exciting and amazing news. Let's jump into them. From 2018 to 2021, we have continued to build the PUBG Mobile Global Esports ecosystem. In 2021, we started 7 new pro leagues to cover all regions globally, and also started Pmgc 2021. The overall ecosystem building is completed. So I can say PUBG Mobile Esports 1.0 is done. Now it's a time to move on to the next phase. This year, we start PUBG Mobile Esports 2.0. The goal of 2.0 is to make this ecosystem pyramid bigger and stronger. The first step in 2022 is to enhance the local regional layer for amateur and semi-pro to be more solid foundation. With a stable base, the structure cannot grow, as you know. There are many changes and upgrades, and you can find the details in our upcoming news and posts. But the key change is from our previous format of PMCO to PMPL twice per year to PMNC and regional cups to PMPL once per year. Various tournaments, including PMCO, PMCC, and even major third-party events, will have qualifying slots for the relevant PMNC in 11 countries and regional cups in 8 regions. This is the overall esports schedule in 2022. The noticeable thing is, PUBG Mobile is honorably selected as the official medal spot in both the Southeast Asia Games and Asian Games. The pro players will represent their own country, and it will be a great honor for these talented pros. The tournament pipeline in pro is similar to this year's, but as you have seen, semi-pro and amateur pipeline has changed much. In short, if you want to grab a chance to play in a pro league, you don't need to wait for PMCO. And to top this all off, the 2022 total prize pool will be even bigger than 2021's. We'll be announcing the prize pool later, so look out for that announcement. Another important step for PUBG Mobile Esports 2.0 is to make the ecosystem stronger. We'll start a franchise model in the second half of 2022, first in Southeast Asia. Our franchise model will be different from other existing models. It will be lighter and more open. The detailed information will be shared soon. So, that's all we have for now. Let's go back to the thrilling matches of PMGC 2021 Grand Finals. A time to enjoy. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah!
I don't know about you guys, but James Yang is looking ripped. Oh my God, I need to get like his personal trainer, his workout plan, his diet plan, because he is looking strong as hell. But also, we saw the prize pool is gonna be bigger than this year. So at least $14 million.
Man, it's already insane to think that just first place team in this tournament is going to get 1.5 million. If it's increased even more, it might be like 2 million for next tournament. That is insane to think that mobile esports has grown so much, especially PUBG Mobile. And man, next year you better get in. That's some big money.
more lives will be changed. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, cannot wait to see the breakdown next year. But for you guys at home, I'm gonna remind you once again that OnePlus, our sponsor here, the OnePlus 9 Pro delivers ultra smooth gaming at 90 FPS. Make sure to check them out. If you don't have it, well, Max, maybe you could have qualified for PMCO. Maybe I could actually be decent at the game if I pick myself up one of those. Max, this is...
I'm sorry. I'm breaking everything. It's cool.
This is why we can't have you in the middle. We can't have you near anything because
you're
just
going
to break it. Yeah, he's going to go back behind the trophy to hide. But also Singtel for providing PMGC with its amazing high-speed network as well over in Singapore. They were helping provide everything we need here at PMGC to make this all possible. But gentlemen, we're about coming into our next match of the day. Our teams to watch. I'm trying to remember who I chose. I'm gonna guess my own choice because I don't remember what I chose. For me, I think I went with Nova because they were looking pretty good in match 1.
Okay.
They were picking up a lot of eliminations. I think they had 8. And I think that's why I chose them.
Is it?
Is it? Did I
good?
choose Nova? Okay, good.
Hey,
All right.
good job.
So I might not have actually chosen. They might have just like, okay, we got to change it real quick. We got to help
Make
them
it
out.
look good.
All right, Max, who do you got?
I went with Na'Vi personally. I think that they have blinders on right now and they're just very focused on fights. I want to see a little bit more awareness. So if I want to see a team step up on the Wrangle match, which is where they typically have some really good results, I think it could happen now.
I went with Furious Gaming. I think we're past now. This is going to be past now the halfway point of the first day. I really don't want them to be relying on just getting those big chicken dinners with those big ilms. It's not going to happen, especially with the way we're now seeing how this lobby is playing out. Hopefully Furious Gaming, they'll be able to kind of snap out of the downslope that they're on right now.
I mean, to be fair to them, right? They are playing against the highest caliber teams they've ever played in their careers. I mean, playing in West, obviously really good teams there as well. But now you're playing against like the Chinese teams, the Eastern teams. Things become much more difficult. And for them, maybe day 1 won't be their jam, but maybe the time they have between day 1 and day 2 to recoup, figure some things out, maybe they will have a big step up in day 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying things out. They even use the sub, right? They use they're subbing players in and out, so they're actually trying to find what sticks potentially. So they're trying things, maybe use rotations, their macro, their micro. So they're going to try and adapt, right? You still got 2 more days of play after this, but the thing is, one bad day could be already your chances of being in the top 3 podium already out of order. So you need to have a big step up in day 2 and day 3 here.
Something that a lot of West teams are starting to notice, and something that I noticed in the last game too, is you cannot miss your shots. And I'm going to call out Mafioso. Mafioso was able to miss some shots. He had the height advantage. He had the cover too. But the SC player was just able to realize that. He was able to locate him and actually cause damage on him. And Mafioso didn't end up doing anything. So for this team, especially from the West, if you see an opportunity, you have to take it and you have to make sure you're definitely hitting those shots.
And one man that knows everything about height advantages is going to be him here on the end. Let's actually bring in our commentators, though, for the first time here in the PMGC Grand Finals. John Allen and Blank, the men, the myth, the legends.
Thank you, Jason, for that lovely introduction. I'm just still hyped from that James Yang outro, man. I was having a good time. Whoa, okay. We're going to
I'm a US now. Let's go. I'm going fast. I'm getting
Absolutely.
into PMGC 2021. I'm happy to be here. And you know, Jason's completely right. If there's anyone who knows about height advantages, it is 7. With that box, it gives him unparalleled power on that desk. He's looking good. I like the Furious Gaming pick. You know, it wouldn't be my first pick, but looking at West overall, John, honestly, they were a cool competitor for me. And I think that they have some potential. Just haven't seen too much of it yet. So maybe here in Erangel, it's time. Maybe with the blessing of 7. Who knows?
Absolutely. You know what I want to see? I want to see a desk, Jason, Blair, and 7. That's what I want to see. I think that would be great fun.
What, just the green giant and 2 hobbits?
I don't think... Oh, dear. Oh, absolutely. I would greatly enjoy that. I think that would be a great time. But I'll tell you what else is a great time. This plane path, very central, pretty kind to everybody on this Erangel drop. I mean, we did have that sort of melee circle last time. It was cruel. We'll see a little bit kinder times this time.
Yeah, people didn't like that. And I think one team that played that out pretty well, and I'm going to give them credit for it, was Down One Gaming. You know, they head down to Cliffside, picked off Shack, and then got a really nice squad wipe. Used that ability and that time to cross the actual river between Sosnovka, well, more like channel between Sosnovka and the main island, and got on. Obviously, it's not ideal, but I think we were discussing this, John, and you made a really good point and said that, you know, it was the right play in the moment. Unfortunately, the right play doesn't always result in a win, unfortunately, but I do think Down One's still making those right plays. However, their overall caliber of team fighters in this lobby has been elevated a lot, just having Western here. We know West is an aggressive region overall. Whenever I've actually casted or watched games from the West, there's usually eliminations going on in the first minute most of the time. We're seeing that a lot more frequently here in the PMGC Grand Finals that we didn't see in East League.
Yeah, and so maybe it's being a little bit forced onto those Eastern teams. And the question is, can they adapt to that? Can they change around it? But for now, I mean, Enigma Galaxy repping the East fairly strong. I have to say, I mean, their points total's great. We've had a couple of criticisms as to, you know, how they've gotten those points, but you can't argue with the results.
Yeah, exactly. And just how beautiful this PMG Scar L skin is. Ooh. You know, the circles have also been equally beautiful coming through for the guys at Enigma Galaxy. You can see that in just that stat total we actually saw over on the desk, in which case a lot of their placement points is the grand majority of the amount of overall rankings that they've been able to put in here, John. You know, their eliminations aren't too high. We saw that over on Miramar with that crazy southern shift down towards the coast side where they practically just stayed in that shack, in that compound the entire time. But I do think that play means a whole lot just in terms of the game there. I think when you look at it, like, not being able to win that game says a lot about Enigma Galaxy. Now, they're a team that, yes, I'm still a fan of, and I love the way they play Sandhawk, and finally they come away with a first place rather than a second place there, but still there are things that are wrong with this team. Not to say that right now that first place isn't deserved. A lot of the games they have played correctly, second into a first, it's nothing to shake your head at, really.
So what you're saying is, if you were to get those PMGC player cards, you wouldn't be necessarily choosing Enigma Galaxy at this point. You would summon maybe some of the other PUBG Mobile teams to collect them, to go and win some of your battles?
Yeah, obviously, what I'd say is I'd put Ralph in defense mode, and I would put Top in attack mode. That's the way it would go around, honestly. But I do think I would probably summon Ralph. That guy is a genius of Sandhawk. He really has the numbers, the strats all worked out. Mainly the numbers in terms of the first aid kits that he's usually holding. But, you know, that is something that we'll leave for another day. We do have a total of 1 million viewers watching right now. So thank you so much to everyone at home. And yes, it is a big wow, John. Wow to you guys. Honestly, go redeem your tokens. You deserve them. Get yourself some great rewards. And maybe there'll be some more rewards throughout the entirety of this tournament. But you'll have to watch out for that, because we're still watching out for that grand prize pool being announced for 2022, which we're all excited for. But there is that 1.5 million on the line right now for the PMGC Grand Finals.
God, do you know what? All the prize pool I need is James's little dances at the end of those segments. I absolutely love. I live for that. It's so good.
We do, and like Jason said, he looks like he's been working out. You know, he's been in the gym. Yeah. You know, his moves were fluid this time around. He looked good, and yeah, that dance really was the cherry on the top of the cake. There, we love to see it. Nova, Jimmy drops down. We'll just be sitting over by Gaka side. They have this 2-2 split going on. It's fairly okay. There's not really a lot of players around their location. I think the most congested spot is actually probably Pmgc at the moment with Down One Gaming and Enigma Galaxy. Enigma Galaxy currently sat very solidly within Pmgc, yet Down One Gaming is off to their northern side, potentially trying to find a place to find home. They have gone very central. This is more akin to what we saw in their league finals, where they were able to put up some mad numbers.
Mad numbers. on the mind at the moment. A good gap for Enigma Galaxy as we hop on board there in Pmgc. Moving a little bit northwest, and look at that Lord giving it to him. Glasses up the nose. That's how you know he's serious.
Well, I know, right? He's logged in. He's locked on. Doesn't have his glasses in game, though. Doesn't need them with the phone that close to his face, you know. That's fine. We don't need that. He's not going to go for that eye damage. He doesn't need the glasses getting in the way. And realistically, he just needs them to see far, far away. And right now, victory is close to his future. As we can see right now, with the points currently on screen, 57, first place. Second place sat at 39. Good stuff for Enigma Galaxy. Again, cannot fault them. But his next Ryu is really kind of like that wild card for me because they came out firing on all cylinders in that finals for West. But their league play, it wasn't really all that astonishing, to be honest with you. But they do look like a good team to me. I'm still rooting for them. I think they found them some very good positions with the map and the circles so far. And I think they've fell prey to quite a few of these third parties, unfortunately.
A regular pattern. I'm gonna loop back a little bit to what we saw in East League is the rotation from the Infinity, from this military base drop that they've gone for at the moment. Generally, it was guarded out by Reject over on that bridge. It started out a little bit 6-2-8 guarded, and then Reject sort of took over that. And now, Reject not in the lobby, S2G are in the way, but they might not be guarding it in the same sort of fortitude as we saw from Reject. So it might make the Infinity's games a little bit easier here in Omegle.
Still, S2G, very, very spiky opponents. They're an extremely hot-headed team, honestly, and not in a bad way either. I think when they come into a fight, they definitely fight with passion, and I think that's the main thing that we can take away from S2G is that some of their team fighting ability is extremely strong. Just taking a look at some of the West that I was able to pick up on, and for me, I think S2G is a team that can get towards the top of the lobby. Fortunately, they're lagging behind a little bit. And in a 3-day stint, you really want to start off strong, which is why it's so dangerous letting Enigma Galaxy get towards the top here when this team really does rely on those steady and consistent points, especially from Sandhawk. They do it well on Erangel and now also on Miramar. And that's terrifying for me. And I think Enigma Galaxy getting a good head start like this is something they can keep up with. I don't think Enigma Galaxy is the most flashy team in the world, but they certainly put up points when they need to.
Absolutely. I mean, they're on 50 set. That's almost a 20-point average, right? Coming from 3 games. A phenomenal start to proceedings. But that is subject to future variance as well, right? It's likely that they're going to see some 1, 2, 3-point games over the course of this 18-game set. And we'll have to see when that starts to come through, because the later that happens, the less likely that it is to happen, right? As soon as you lock in those big points totals, it gets less likely that you're going to drop off on that variance.
And I do think that, you know, last little point on Enigma Galaxy here, if you are a fan of the Arabian region, right, like Enigma Galaxy is doing something that we have never seen from an Arabic team before, and that is really topping the tables over in these teams where we're playing with the best of the best. Usually, we do have an Arabian team that gets in and does decently well, but it's more towards the bottoms of those rankings, whereas Enigma Galaxy right now, they are putting a statement on, and realistically, they're a fantastic Arabic team, and it's good to see this kind of change come about when we just haven't seen that so far in a long, long time. Taking a look right now, though, at the map, heads up towards the northern side with this circle. Going to cause a fair few problems, especially with so many teams down towards the south side of the island. On the other hand, Alpha 7 make their little run away from that top side of the map towards Severny. Team Secret, they will have to weather the storm. That is the big problem for them right now. They're in a very, very much contested area within that tree line. A lot of teams will be heading through this way, so if they get caught off guard, because the tree line will keep them hidden, but they'll also keep other teams that move into their area hidden as well. So they're going to really have to be aware of their surroundings.
They should be aware of the teams approaching, though, because it's likely that the teams from the south are going to sort of swing in from the sides in those vehicle rotations and try and find a spot that way. Should give that little bit of info. It depends on the split that Team Secret take, right, as to what sort of information they can gather. Enigma Galaxy, though, they found a little bit of trouble against the 4 rivals, and Ralph does go down. Fenerbahce actually taking that flush, and they get away with it. It's a full point, and it's clean.
I think for Enigma Galaxy, you know, this is one of their weaker points, is they're sticking around in a place far too long. Usually it works out for them because we have seen circles that have gone in their favor, but they stuck towards Pmgc for a very, very long time there, John. By the time they move up, there's already teams all around them. You had Fenerbahce moving into that fight, as well as 4 rivals on top of Rozhok Hill. They have great sightlines all over the place, so getting a quick knock in and allowing that to be picked up by someone else. Yes, it doesn't give 4 rivals a point, but it gives them a general indication of the players in their surrounding area, and this is fine for them. That's why you play Rozhok Hill. That information gathering is amazing.
Xavier moving up a little bit closer to that river, to that bridge, and maybe looking to cross a little bit later. Stalwart, they came out swinging with a really strong chicken dinner, and they are still sat in that 3rd place position, so still very much in contention for that top spot. See how much further they can go.
I think playing from Novo really requires Stalwart to play this edge play style, right? And I think for Stalwart, they have some very good movements towards the middle and the end of the game, right, John? Where they're able to get around the map is beautiful. S2G chiming in here towards Enigma Galaxy, taking a few shots. Hamodi drops to the floor. And a puff of smoke. He will have to crawl back to the rest of his team to get back picked up again. But I don't think S2G is going to continue this too much, especially with Enigma Galaxy now firmly within the warm embrace of concrete.
They have already lost a player. Well, it depends how many bullets you shoot at it, I suppose. You've got to send that kinetic energy somewhere. Has to disperse somehow, but S2G, you've got to make it a little bit hotter as they crash straight into the ground floor of the garage. Timber lighting a fire underneath them, starting to spark it. Not really going too much further than the staircase. Doesn't want to step too far out of line. Another bouncer. Doesn't quite find Hamodi there. Doesn't actually take the full knock, and just a sliver of HP keeps Enigma Galaxy at 3 standing. Silas on the off angle, and there's a nade from Timber, sends a second one out, and that will do the job. Timber down the stairs, takes care of Freak as well. He's on to 2 now. And he turns around now. It's just Law to deal with. Silas in for the backup. Rip 7 healing up in the sidelines, but it looks like Enigma Galaxy's reign might be coming to a stop just now. Silas around the wall, but it's teammates working together. S2G take down the top dog.
Really, really well played to S2G there. You know, we were talking about them earlier, just this passionate team full of fire, and that's what we like to see from it. They could certainly take these compound finishes. You know, back when we saw a fair few of these players on Class Digital Athletics, you know, their compound play was unrivaled a lot of times, and I think it was those off angles that looked so good, specifically from Silas, and he makes it look easy there. And regardless of what happened in that fight, Silas would have been able to pick up the pieces. So very good setup coming through from S2G, and that'll halt Enigma Galaxy. Now, this is a really big opening now for Stalwart. You see them on your screen. They're moving across Yaz West Bridge, so they're beginning over towards the top side of this circle. But with so much river in this, so much awkward landmass to play around with, you know, Stalwart's victory, or at least their path towards it, to try and jump above Enigma Galaxy, might be a little bit tougher than they might have hoped for.
2 players from 628 crashing into 2 from Na'Vi, not all regrouped just yet. Potential to find that regroup, but it's Tixi and Matic in the compound. Sunan does get knocked there and will get flushed. That's another elimination, and backup arrives for Na'Vi as Matic does get traded. 628 looking to get this backup in as well as this fight devolves into an all-out bloodthirst. Yu Yang around the side challenges Tixi and wins that one. Daoshi up on the top as well, looking to potentially push down. Get the backup against this Na'Vi squad. The nade from Meku pops in through and under the stairs. Daoshi is going to go straight on up and get out of dodge for there.
It was very dangerous from Daoshi there. I mean, just careening past that grenade. Could have gone off at any moment. Godlike starting to look towards this fight as well. They hear the fighting. They hear the gunshots. They're ready to pick up a few points on the back of this one. Sat down in 14th place with only 9 points total. Beautiful nade comes through from Yu Yang. Will start this fight off anew for them.
Meku now, I think, last standing for Na'Vi. All 4 of them are alive, but with only 1 gun in action, it's going to be tricky to hold this off with Godlike in the wings as well. It's all to play for. 628, equally unlucky, but they still have 2 guns in the fight. As Meku reposition, wants to get some backup, but looks for the spite instead. And falls on down Na'Vi. Really, really struggling to stay alive here, but there's the flush, and it's good. Kitsune now last standing for Na'Vi.
Daoshi, final member, and Godlike, this is go time for them. This is a perfect third party coming through from these experienced players from India. Yu Yang up top side, very low here. Daoshi, similarly in an awkward position, just has to play on the top. Kitsune, though, finds one, looks for another, close the door on him.
And it will get broken, will get bursted. Clutch God able to get that knock. Jonathan, Rezable here as well. 6-8 still on their island on the stairs. Looking for the reses, and they will be able to put 2 of them back standing tall here against the crash from Godlike. All 4 of them are alive, but looking for those reses. Still the nade up top, and it's good for
goodness.
1. Does a lot of damage. Forces the jump over the side for Daoshi, and there's a fadeaway, and it's a team nade. Miscommunication. Daoshi finds a second as well, and against Godlike, they're standing up. One more might just be able to do it. Daoshi with a drop shot, but it can't quite close down the push from Godlike, and the Indian players are going to be able to wipe out with a beautiful third party.
What should have been easy, though, John, turns into 1 knock and 1 elimination for Godlike, which is not what they were prepared for, what they wanted at all. Stalwart, on the other hand, they're moving over the top side of the map. Fortunately, Revo managed to find at least 1 knock there. I believe they might have got a flush through as well. Yes, they did. So now Stalwart only down to 3 players. On our stream, it is Furious Gaming versus Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce, oh, he steps right into the firing line of Tiger Zin. Furious Gaming, they're able to find that knock pretty easily here. In comes a potential third party for Xavier, or are they just going to try and get ahead of the game and move in towards Rozhok? Rabis swiftly shifts into reverse there, gets back in the lake. Team Secret moving in from the north side. Now Duck out in the water. Going to have to sit on that one. But Fenerbahce now under pressure from Team Secret, and I think this is where they crumble.
Moving away from that fight, you know, with Rozhok just being so heavily contested by so many teams, there's not really an opportunity to leave a compound at this point in time, John.
Unfortunate. Difficult ground ahead for so many of these teams. Down 1 with a pretty central Rozhok position, but they're surrounded on all fronts. They're going to have to fight out of that area if the circle doesn't shift towards them. Have to wait and see on that one.
I mean, for Down 1, finishing league finals up towards Yaz's side, you know, being able to play that one out in the concrete, in the jungle, you know, you'd imagine Down 1's really kind of perfected at this point in time. Their movements were crispy clean, so I'm hoping to see some of the same coming through from Down 1, but it's Fenerbahce somehow makes the 180, gets at least 1 from Ice Shot, but Team Secret will secure at least a position here on the eastern side. 4 rivals up towards the warehouse, on the top side of Rozhok, so have some high ground to play around with here. The real question for me is when this next circle hits, because depending on where it goes, things could get real fishy real soon. If it heads up towards that north side, you know, you're going to see a lot of fishies in that water.
Don't doubt it for a second. Absolutely. We are just waiting for this shrink, really. Nobody wants to make this move. Stalwart at the moment on the northern shore, 3 players alive, pretty close to Godlike, who also have 3 alive. But then you've got Alpha 7. They're going to be the arbiters on that northern edge, should it come down to that. We'll have to wait and see.
This is a winning position here for Alpha 7. You can't quite see it on your screen right now, but they're off to that northern side, that north coast, and they can play downwards from here and just pick up parties that are trying to move across the bridge, across the water. So yeah, it really, really all does depend on this, because Alpha 7, yes, they couldn't get into Rozhok, but they try to go for a gamble here. Unfortunately, does not pay off as we see the circle hit down towards that south side. A little bit more awkward, but it does see some teams safe. Down 1 Gaming, S2G, 4 rivals.
We're going to be seeing that shift come up on screens in just a second there. A South Coast shift. So now the crossing on the cards for Godlike, Stalwart, and Alpha 7. Nova, I feel like, actually in a pretty decent spot to stop this. The question is, what can they do to stop this descent from Alpha 7, from those teams on the north?
It's a bit tricky. The Infinity, though, they move immediately. They know they need to get into these buildings. They were right on that south side, playing the edge from Sosnovka military base, and now they can at least get a little bit of respite ahead of them. Unfortunately, teams see this come through. A lot of eyes are over towards them. Logan takes a fair few shots. Godtony goes down completely. Xavier, not really sure what they were doing. You know, there is a gamble, and then there is kind of putting yourself on the right of the edge of the coin, right? It never works out. It's so precarious playing this position because they were playing for both Rozhok and the northern coast. And realistically, playing here, I don't think it was the play.
4 rivals looking to pick up the points from the fish, casting the line out wide. Nova, Stalwart, Godlike, all in the water here. There's the crash. Zekot just sends in right behind Nova as well. A bold choice, but really, you don't have any other option.
Scry extremely low, will go down to the water itself. Pika, final player remaining here for Stalwart. Sees Clutch got off in the distance, zooming his way down towards the water side, but realistically it's this eastern side of the map that we're all looking towards at the moment. So much space on the western side though at the moment for Next Ruya to try and make their way in. They're in the same vehicle.
Clutch God and Paraboy, they're in the same vehicle! Oh, Clutch God takes him out! Oh my goodness me. What a way to go. And then Pemburu finds the third party onto that fight. Goodness me.
Kind of like Jurassic Park mode with Clutch God just scraping the top of the vehicle off with his claws and then sending the M4 in afterwards. Paraboy goes down to something they never expected there. Now Nova down to just 2. That's an awkward ending for them in the waters. Down 1 though, still sitting strong. Team Secret trying to make their way up the building, but it is uphill, and Down 1 will know it's coming for the time being. Like I said, Down 1 get DXAV kind of playing the game of having your cake and also eating it, right? So we'll see what they can get done here. Right now, they are able to hold off Furious Gaming, who are really struggling on this eastern side with the help of Team Secret sending a few shots their way too.
A lot of nades being traded now. Xavier suffering. I'm looking at Next Ruya's position right now and thinking they're on the outside of this town. If the circle shifts out to the west, they might just be quids in, but they'll have to hope for that shift to come on through. Everybody duking it out now. Team Secret, this core against Down 1 Gaming. This could be the decider for a really strong team position.
Yeah, this is an elevated position on the map, and we'll see where this next circle goes. Does head over towards Down 1 Gaming's position, but Jumper's making it work at the time being. They've found their way into the building. Forest tries to go off against a few. Now Fabian remaining on the ground floor. Song comes in too to try and help out a little bit, and Team Secret crumbling.
Excellent crossfire set up there from Forrest and Fabian. Sung on the backup, as you say, and Jumper left out in the cold. The res is possible for Down 1 Gaming, and they might just be able to hold on to this position. Eye shots pretty much a goner here. Not much you can do, as Forrest looking to get res as well.
Oh dear me, what just happened there? Nice Molotov from Jumper, takes down 2 at least. It trickles down from the stairway, the fires like lava.
They are going to burn away. And now there's 3 players alive for Down 1. How much more does Jumper have left in the tank? Genie suppressing those angles, stopping those cheeky little shots. Godlike eliminated in the meantime. On the eastern side of the circle, it's still a bloodbath. Jumper left, last player alive as Nova go down on that shoreline. Stalwart still in it, and Alpha 7, the only team to make a clean crossing. Well, I say clean, 2 of them have gone down already, Blank.
Massive surprise from Pika to be able to make his way across the river there, all the way on that northern side. Alpha 7, like you say, trying to make their way in, but with only 2, not looking too likely. 4 rivals still holding down this warehouse position. Nice elevated ground for them to play from. 2 spots that they're holding, slightly dangerous if they take a couple of knocks, but I don't think they're in any danger as of yet.
Jumper still under pressure from Down 1, the last player from Team Secret. And the top dogs from the East League, he lines them up for the shooting gallery, only gets 1, and it's not good enough. The res can come through, Sung able to see to that. Down 1, keep on trucking with 3.
Still really well played to Down 1 there. They know they're right on the eastern edge of this circle, so clearing out any insurgents in that area is extremely important to them. Now they can play from that eastern side very safely, dear me. He played ball with the top of the ridge there, it wasn't great.
Yeah, I feel like in a fight with a brick wall, it's very difficult to win in general.
Yeah, true.
Carrillo, last player for Alpha 7, though, as his teammate gets swept up. Pika on the off angle needs to be maybe worried about that as well. But Pika doesn't want to make a peep.
For him, this game is extremely important. Already in 7th place, Stalwart sat in 3rd at the moment. Every point counts right now. Remember, this is a sprint in the grand finals. Carrillo almost finds 2 there. 4 rivals left, a little bit worse for wear, but it's S2G going against Next Ruya.
Next Ruya, they are suffering, but all 4 of them are alive. 2 knocks go their way, but S2G lose 2 players full. A flush comes on out, and this, as you can see on the right side of your screen, Next Ruya, a team that is vying for that top spot. The longer they go on, the more Enigma Galaxy have to worry. Going out early, not good for them in this game.
Not at all. 4 limbs right now for S2G. Next Ruya sending some nades into that building. Problem is, Next Ruya is out of the circle. So S2G kind of have priority here, and the fight has to come to them. Down 1, still extremely happy at this spot that they've managed to nick. Obviously, they're down to 3 players, not the best in the world. The Infinity somehow able to scrape their way through. Still, they're playing an uphill battle. See how far they can go. Still, for Down 1 Gaming, it's one of those tricky things of taking a fight with a 4-man team. They've got the smokes out, but it doesn't look like there's many meds on board for the Infinity, or at least all the boosters are gone.
Not in action. Infinity nading over towards Down 1. Trying to bombard, and in goes next Ruya, and it's just easy pickets for them. Look at that. S2G down and out. 4 rivals. Ooh, go a little bit too low over on that north side, but they will be able to deal with Stalwart down to 4.
Orman knows his hand. One of the biggest damage dealers coming through from the east, and he's got one of the biggest damaging guns in the game. See what he can get done with it. I do think that Down 1 has a nice clean sweep on that eastern side, though, to look across here. The Infinity very much out in the open. It just depends how aggressive do Down 1 Gaming want to be. There are still nades been sent over to their position, so you would have thought that Down 1's going to play it a little bit cooler. 4 rivals, though. It's been a long time coming. And it's sad that Max hasn't predicted them for a chicken dinner. Didn't get a single one in the East League, and now they're looking for one here in the Grand Finals.
I mean, what a place to do it as well. 4 rivals go for the crash. All 4 of them survive it. They will weather that first phase of the fight, but now is the hour that they will start to struggle. And there you go. The knocks start to come through thick and fast onto the team. Now 2 players standing as the building being held out effectively by Next Ruya, with the third parties from Down 1 and the Infinity all looking this way. 4 rivals burning on up, and blank. I don't think Max would have wanted to predict them now.
Not at all. And this is the problem with 4 rivals. Their execution is shoddy. No one is tipping them for that. Next Ruya will be able to rebuff them there. Not sure what 4 rivals were thinking. They played so patient for so long, and then all of a sudden, felt like an adrenaline shot had been shot into their veins in that moment. They were ready to go, but go to hell they do. Now it's Down 1 Gaming versus the Infinity, as well as Next Ruya. The Infinity able to still hold on this ridgeline, but like I said, those meds are limited. Fabian, but beautiful nade over the top jump.
I think everyone's meds are limited at this point. Blank nades have been flying for so long. Another nade actually does a lot of damage to Logan. If Sung can land another from this garage, it might be just that double knock, a crucial position, but Logan goes down as well, looking for more, and Down 1 Gaming swing out wide. Godtunny needs to be careful on this ridge line. The nade going to suppress them back just a little bit further, but Godtunny is on the fight. They're worried about the smoke. They haven't cleared this ground, but the swing is good. It's well principled here, and out wide he goes. Sung now knows the position, stops that res coming through, looks for the damage over towards Godtunny, peeking around the side of the vehicle, but not quite finding the licks. And Mallet goes down in the meantime. Next Ruya still crunching down from the top side. Down 1 Gaming swing.
Really well played, Down 1 Gaming, holding off 2 teams at the same time right now. This is why they're playing it slow. They know they have to deal with Next Ruya next, so they can't let them get out of this building. The smokes have been laid down at the moment, John, but can they keep these players concealed for much longer?
Logan gets up, but Godtunny goes down, and it's a 1-2 punch to take down the Infinity. Down 1 Gaming from South Korea, looking to take on Next Ruya, who, by the way, second place on the tables.
Nade.
They're going to be happy with this. A nice nade through the window. Doesn't matter really the result for Next Ruya, but they do want more. Down 1 Gaming, though, too strong here in Rostock. 1 kill goes their way, and they're looking for the last as well. The sprays are out wide, and Fabian looks to put the nail in, but he's on the swivel. Frozen finds 1, looks for Sung as well, and he gets it done! Next Ruya, no way did they make that happen! Down 1 Gaming fall at the final hurdle, and somehow, some way, the team from the West jumped the tables.
Frozen's got ice running through his veins in those final moments to make a clutch like that happen in the Grand Finals. It is not easy, ladies and gentlemen, to make that one happen, but the smoke keeps him at bay. That was so well done for Chaos Ruya. Honestly, Frozen, what a champion in those final moments. And they were fighting through thick and thin there towards the end versus S2G, plow through them, then plow through 4 rivals. And to finish it off versus Down 1 Gaming, goodness me, what a flop at the end there.
That was so unfortunate for Down 1 Gaming. I mean, it felt like that. I mean, I was pretty much, I was speaking about it like they'd already won.
know.
They already got that knock. They had 3 players alive. It was a 1v3. He was out in the open. and it felt like they just didn't have that comms on. I mean, you saw them earlier in that map, just on that spraying into that smoke, like they didn't know anyone was there. They didn't check it. They didn't play at the end, but it felt like those comms were maybe not quite on board right at the end. They're a little bit chaotic, maybe getting a little bit too far ahead of themselves. But credit to Nextruya. I mean, they had a tough game in that one.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Nextruya. Honestly, great use of smoke. Let's see what the desk has to say about this one.
Let it go, boys. You can't hold him back anymore. My boy Frozen, we've talked about him so many times over the course of this year, being such a dominating force in Turkey. And I'm so happy to see him come into his own here at the PMGC Grand Finals, coaching things out 1v3, getting Nextruya their first victory here on the board. Guys, I'm so happy to see this, and I'm so happy for Turkey as well.
Yeah, I think they had so much time at the end, they could have built a snowman almost. Like, it was just a really good opportunity for Frozen. And the Turkish God, to be honest, he's been the player that we continuously bring back. If it's not Solke, it's going to be Frozen X, right? And he's just able to get himself that great finish towards down one. And took, what was it, 1v2, I think, towards the end there to make sure he secured that win. So great execution. The elevation was lost on down one. They got to take that box away from 7, apparently, if they want to win that elevation again, because they just didn't have it there.
Listen, it happens, right? Damn, son, you threw that. They had it. I wish they would have been able to clutch it. I was actually really impressed by how Frozen was able to clutch up there. We haven't really seen him throughout today so far. Some of his other teammates have been stepping up. So for him to be able to clutch up again and showcase the skills that he was able to showcase on the West League Finals is really impressive to me.
Well, we are seeing the results here from the last match, and as we saw, Damwon getting second, and well, 4 rivals. There was a glimmer of hope. Max looked really giddy and ready to go to call them out as being a victor. And unfortunately, as we get into the Super Weekends, we get into the Grand Finals, they didn't pull it out.
With 4 rivals, something I did not enjoy, Max, and I know we're going to point this out. With Alpha 7, their push was just super sloppy. They got super lucky that nobody else was there, but if another team might have been able to kind of third-party that, I feel like it would have been a completely different story for them.
Okay, so the fact that Nextruya's first place is already impressive, but look at how far they are ahead of every team in eliminations. 30 compared to 18 second place, 19th and 3rd and 4th. They are dominating this lobby.
With the same amount of chicken dinners too, it just goes to show the consistency we've been seeing from Nextruya, with the consistency we've been able to see also from Nigma Galaxy is absolutely insane. But Infinity,
what's happening?
I just saw that. I thought, like, this is not normal. Do we have an issue? What is the database wrong?
Well, to be fair, this last game, again, they played for placements. In the one before on Senat, they played for placements. I just did not expect them to have 4.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, look at everything around them. 19, 18, 14, 18. They actually have the least eliminations in the entire lobby.
The thing is, if they were on par with the rest of the teams in terms of eliminations, they would be top 3 currently. So they need to step up big time when it comes to getting those frags. If they don't do so, the teams that are getting those big frag games, they're going to be stepping up.
Even 6 to 8 in last place, they have 6.
Navi, second to last place, they had 10.
What is going on here? Infinity, we coined you as being such a consistent team and so good. I mean, to be fair, they're technically in like their 4th place, right? They're still doing really well, but this is not the Infinity that we expect to come into this entire event.
Yeah, they're not a team that relies purely on placement points.
Where you at, man?
Yeah, exactly. We talked about it. They can all frag out, right? That was the big success of the team in the league stage and also in the league finals. They could all frag out individually. We haven't seen that right now. They're all focused around macro, and I think that coming into a global event like this is their first time on this stage. Maybe they're taking that first day as a test, but like those eliminations are lacking big time.
I'm glad you mentioned that. In a way, I don't mind what they're currently doing, right? For LMs, it is a little bit scary, but at least they're making sure they're securing those placement points that do matter. Yeah. And as you said, maybe they are trying something different here for day 1, but tomorrow, if they're able to continue doing what they're doing right now and as well be able to get those elims, we can be talking completely different about them. They could be in that first place.
And that's a good point. And the thing for me is, and this is what I always say when it comes to like having a balance between placements and eliminations, you're never going to be that #1 team if you can't balance things out. They're not going to get #1 off placements alone. They need to get those eliminations. And the difference between 1st and 2nd place is $900,000. That's what 7 gets in an event after working, 10 days. Like, that's insane. And Infinity has to step up if they want to take home that 1.5.
I'm glad you mentioned the marriage between the elim points and the placement points, because I was actually surprised by another team there, and it's Alpha 7. Usually Alpha 7 is a big team in regards to elims. Their elim points are always outweighing their placement points. Right now, they have the exact same number, which is super impressive, and it goes to speak volumes of the way they're currently playing. They're readjusting themselves. They're being able to just play a completely different game than what we're used to, and I think it's really, really promising.
I think one thing that's helped them out especially a lot here is that all the hot drops we thought would potentially happen, except the one on Miramar that actually went down, But they didn't even take the fight versus Enigma Galaxy, right? They're avoiding every single one of those fights early on to make sure they have a big opportunity to make it towards that late game. So I'm enjoying how Alpha 7 actually adapted here, because sure, they were really good when it comes to fragging power, but their macro is absolutely on point, and I'm just loving it here, Jason.
Yeah, and I think it's so hard to be good at macro when you're going into a lobby with, 9 teams from East out of nowhere if you're coming in as a West team, and then obviously you have a team coming from India for Godlike. I feel like, Godlike have probably had the toughest position out of any team out there. They just recently, well, I say that, right? They obviously have, because they haven't played international events like this in over a year, in like 2 years of time, right? Yeah. But they also were the team who's played the most recent, right? So they're actually the most warmed up compared to all these other teams. But we've seen some good things out of them. We saw them had a really good fight up against 628, if I'm not mistaken, where they actually did pick up the final eliminations onto them. But I'm hoping to see a little bit more out of Godlike. But to be fair, there's a lot of teams out there I'm expecting more out of.
Yeah. Godlike's being completely different than what we saw in the first 2 matches. Remember, they were playing that late circle pushed in. Now they're willing to third party, and the fight you were talking about is 628 fighting Na'Vi. Godlike decided to just jump in there, be able to finish Na'Vi, which I think is huge. Not only that, it's a big confidence booster for these players as well. And on top of that, they were able to push on 628 and eliminate them as well.
Yeah, I have the impression though, Godlike, when you're looking back on this game in particular, I feel like they were pressured by the circle very heavily, and they were forced into a decision that they didn't want to make. I think if they just took a little bit of a step back and waited a little bit longer, they would have seen that great opportunity to wrap around the more western side, enter through southwest, and that could have even given them a great opportunity to enter into Rozhok and get a really good position to fight from, potentially even behind Infinity. I think there are still opportunities they are lacking to find, but it's still a really good step up for, once again, a team that you said did not have that competitive experience on the global stage for a long time now.
I mean, speaking of that, if we look at another team, only one player on their roster has had the international experience, and he actually had it here last year with Class Ditch Athletics. S2G with Silas, S2G in particular, 7. I mean, you were a big proponent of this team. We've talked about it yesterday as a team you expected to potentially win the whole thing. How do you feel like they've been doing so far over the course of today? Have they lived up to your expectations, or do you think they're falling a little bit short?
I feel like they've been playing how I expect them to. It's still that first day. This is a team that's kind of readjusting. We're talking about Nova. We're trying to figure out if these 2 teams were going to clash, and so far it hasn't happened. So they might be able to readjust to that tomorrow, being able to, okay, now that thing that we were really worrying about is not actually happening. So we might be allowed to play our game even better. We also haven't really seen Timber. I feel like Timber was a big part of their game, especially in the West. If we can see him pop off a little bit more, this is a team that has the potential to win. And I mean, we have seen them win some engagements too.
Yeah, they won actually quite a few of them. I think that what we're lacking to see right now from S2G in particular is that really aggressive nature that we mentioned many times, and when we have those conversations, right, is they are a team that if they see an opportunity, they're going to strike instantly, and they're going to get that position under control. Hasn't happened just yet, but you've got to keep in mind, despite Silas having that PMGC experience last year, the 3 other players don't. So I think after today, Silas is going to take the team, reformat things, and potentially reset the mentality of the team to try and get things working forward in day 2, in day 3, hopefully. So just a little bit more time, and I think the S2G is going to come in hot tomorrow.
I mean, to be fair, though, to Timber, I mean, if we looked at the start of the day, right, our 2 MVPs from East and from West, and he was up against Newsy, and Newsy just is even playing right now. I mean, because obviously they only have 4 eliminations for Infinity. Like, both MVPs from the league stage out of each region have not performed at all. And obviously it's much more difficult to go from league stage East and West to this now, because you're playing against so many different styles and so many teams maybe you're not too familiar with. But the fact is, you can't have people on your team that you expect to perform not perform here in the grand finals if you want to win.
Yeah, that's something we've been talking about for a minute too, right? How deep is your roster, and those superstar players that you've been relying on, are they going to be able to pop off? Another one that kind of pops right at the top of my head is going to be Furious Gaming. I had picked them for a team to watch in the last one. They showed me some things, but they just haven't really shown me the potential to be a winning team, the potential to be a championship team. They rely too heavily on Poppy Potro. That was a player that was able to pop off as well during West League. We haven't even been able to mention them. We haven't seen any stats from them yet. So it'll be interesting to see if that team is going to be able to readjust to that. I am happy with the readjustments we have seen from Godlike, from Alpha 7. Another team I would like to see some readjustments from is Na'Vi.
Boom! We didn't even practice that. I knew you were going to say that.
I feel out of place.
They're just that disappointment team. Like you were talking about it earlier. I kind of told myself, do not pick them this season. They're gonna be disappointing you. So far, that's exactly what they're doing. They start off super slow. Yeah. I feel like in the finals for West, they ended up in second place, but I feel like things went their way too good. They weren't really met with any confrontation from some of the other teams. It was too easy for them, and right now they're just putting themselves in a big hole.
Yeah, what I mentioned earlier, right? I have the impression they have blinders on. They got their own little bubble in which they're taking a fight. For example, the fight versus 628, right?
Yep.
Went well at the start initially, and then you have that third party from Godlike that they had no idea that was going to happen, right? So I think that having a little bit more map awareness, even if it's just having a scout that's maybe scouting a little bit more than usual, I think that could be something that could unlock potential for Na'Vi. But right now, the way they're acting things is good for fights, but when it comes to the macro, things are just topsy-turvy. It's not working out.
Something different that they worked for Na'Vi there in the last one, they didn't decide to hot drop with Alpha 7.
Yeah.
They actually decided to go a little bit south of George.
Okay, well, you know what? We have a lot of hopes for Na'Vi here going forward into the rest of the day, and of course the rest of the tournament as well. But before we can even get into the rest of the day, we have to head to a short break. And when we do come back, we'll be heading into our 5th and penultimate match of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 matches left to go over the course of today, and of course 2 days left of 6 matches in each of those days. But things are getting tough for some teams out there if they want to have a chance to break through into these top positions to take home a lot of bank. Well, they're running out of the matches to do exactly that. However, one team in particular, Nexria, coming in from Turkey, currently sitting in first place, doing phenomenal, and again led by the player of Frozen, making it look all too easy. But as we go forward into our next matches, there's still a couple of teams we were talking about before that we want to see step up. Navi, the likes of one of them. S2G, I still want to see step up just a little bit more, show that Turkish pride, and show what they really can do. Of course, with Silas leading the helm. But Max, we still have a lot of East teams as well who are just really struggling.
Yeah, there are a lot of the ones that are currently struggling right now. One of those is 4Rivals, of course. Though you talk bad about my boys of 4Rivals. I'm gonna say it. Actually, I enjoyed that play coming out from them. Sure, the execution was maybe lacking a little bit, but they are a team that usually they get to the late game and they just don't do anything. They just wait for things to happen around them, and then they might try and get involved towards the very end. But here, they actually went for that push onto Alpha 7, tried to defend their own territory. I love that. Sure, the execution was lacking, but if they can work and improve upon that aspect of the game itself, I think 4Rivals might be able to get their first chicken dinner here in the tour, maybe. we'll see.
They got lucky. All right, that's
Come
what I'm going
on,
to put it at.
don't do
They
my boys
definitely
like that.
got lucky in regards to that. You're telling me if another team was there, they would have not survived that. They had to go back, recoup. They had to actually pick up one of their teammates that was down. And with 4Rivals, I actually want to talk about a team from the West that really has underperformed for me. And I was thinking about it after Jason asked me that question. It's going to be Fenerbahce. I expected a lot more out of this team. This was a team that was super consistent in the West. It was a team that wasn't actually able to get that many chicken dinners, as they were only able to get 1 chicken dinner throughout the whole tournament for the West. But today, I mean, we really have not seen that team whatsoever.
Yeah. No, we haven't seen Fenerbahce. I can only agree on that point. I think especially when you go back on that Sanok game, they were trying to look for opportunities. They tried to go for the river position on the bridge. It just didn't work out. I think they maybe got to try and step back a little bit and play edge a little bit longer, because they try and go for these pivotal positions so early on, and teams are just trying to contest it. That's what happened on the first game on the Wrangle 2. That is super strong compound. Lacked the time to regroup, and boom, instantly contested, right? So I think they need to try and take a little bit of a step back on their games. If they can do so, they might see better opportunities at hand in the future.
Yeah, and there's even like another topic I want to open up here as we were kind of discussing while we were watching the matches. It's about just like the raw mechanical skill we're seeing out of these East teams, right? You were talking about Seven, how in the West you could peek out and not get punished. Here in East, or here in the Grand Finals, I should say, you peek out, you're going to get sniped down.
Definitely. I mean, it's something that I'm always big on, especially in the West and with Glitter as well. We would always point it out. Some players would decide to stay out of cover for too long. Right now, you're going to get punished if you get out of cover for way too long. And I mean, we saw that perfectly between Alpha 7 and STE. Mafioso decided to just shoot. He didn't get any shots. The ST player was out in the open. He didn't even have any cover. He was able to locate him. He was able to crouch and get some shots at him and make Mafioso back down, even though he was the player with the height advantage. And on top of that, the cover.
Yeah, it was just a really good play.
Good stuff, good stuff. I also want to give a shout out to OnePlus here, our sponsor at PMGC. With this OnePlus 9 Pro, you get smooth gaming with 90 FPS, and you guys never have to settle when you use one of those awesome, amazing phones. And speaking of that, I'm assuming all the players are enjoying it as well, as we're about to head into our 5th match of the day. The day's flown by, actually, now that I think about it. But it's time to get back into our teams to watch, and I'll start things off. I chose Nigma Galaxy for a negative reason. They've had a good... Don't look at me like that.
Team not to watch.
No, team to watch, because they have done really well in the first 3 matches, but I'm worried if they can maintain that performance, because they looked terrible in the last match alone. But it's time to head into our casters. I'm sorry, Seven and Max will hear predictions later on. So back on over to John, Allen, and Blank.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm glad that you managed to get your prediction whilst taking all the time away from your analysts. I really think that's a good one. But we are going to be watching Nigma Galaxy, to be fair, in this game, right? We're going to be paying a lot of attention to them because they had their top spot bumped from them in that fight, in that last game, with a pretty spectacular win coming through from Nexria.
Yeah, and I think that their last Miramar kind of was off the back of a bad situation gone good, right? It's one of those weird scenarios where they head all the way down towards that southern coast pick up a compound they don't think anyone's going to aggress upon, and then suddenly the circle is right on top of you, and you're in a very good position to actually pick up a chicken dinner. Unfortunately, they're not able to translate that into a chicken dinner with Alpha 7 just playing out of their minds in those final moments, Santa Texa in particular. But, you know, they still got a fair bunch of points from here on Miramar, which is not usually where I expect Enigma Galaxy to get most of their points from. Pmgc starting point for them on Erangel is extremely good. Similarly, the Sandhawk feels like they've got that down to pat now. Miramar is a little bit more of a place where I expect things to be slightly different for this team of Enigma Galaxy. Checking out these other drop spots, though, John, you know, fairly similar. We're seeing DXAV head up towards El Azahar, but it is Alpha 7 heading all the way up to Campo Militar. Now, they're really getting out the way a lot of times now in this lobby.
Yeah, they are going to be right in that northern side, staying out of problems, staying out of trouble, but how long is that going to last them, right? If they're currently sat in 4th place, is that all they're destined for here? Because it's not really... Again, if you're playing like that, you're not playing to win. You're playing to not lose, really, I think is the way I'd put it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good way to put it. And I think for Alpha 7, you know, there's already that confidence. There's lacking almost when they don't go for that fabled boot camp drop over on Sandhawk and instead head over towards that northwest island and decide not to challenge there. I don't think by any means Alpha 7's a bad team whatsoever. In fact, I think they are definitely probably the best. In fact, no, I'll rephrase it. I think they are the best in West. I think that there is reasons behind that. They are just one step ahead of everyone else. I think that they can play on par with the Eastern teams. Pmgc coming towards 6-2-8 though. Just one player. Should be easy enough for him.
Well, it did look a little bit ropey. A lot of damage. Look at that, pumped into 6-2-8, but
jeez,
they get away with it. They get away with it. They'll be all right. And they're still in loot phase, which means that damaged armor can be replaced, can be just repositioned and get that healing on board as well.
Yeah, and with our esports settings, you know, there's going to be a lot more loot lying around for these teams anyway, but Pmgc down to already just 3 is not great for them. You know, they're sat in 13th place with only 15 points total, which is not good whatsoever. But I think we need to start looking towards the middling areas of the table at the moment, because I think we've given a lot of love down towards those players at the bottom, a lot of love down towards those players at the top, but not really towards these middling teams. So I'm looking at Nova, Team Secret, Down One. You know, Down One really dropping the ball that last game. And I know we might have said, oh, shit, don't do this to me, please.
Uh-oh.
You know, there's 2 in there.
He's hiding behind the
best time for it.
He's hiding behind that OnePlus phone. Watch out, Nox. He's behind the OnePlus phone. Oh dear. Daoshi, he strikes on out, gets a lot of damage, but doesn't find the knock there. Actually going to be chasing this one up. Knows. Doesn't know the floor.
Oh my
that
God.
He's been going to. Drops down the stairs instead. There's some crossfire, and the rest of 6-8 now there for the backup. So Daoshi a little bit more, I was going to say safe, but Sunan gets pelted with a nade there from the side. Doken Machine putting the hurt down.
Yeah, really well played. Now, Nox can actually start to get into this fight. Molotov over through the side did actually spell a nasty end to them on their previous angle with the Molotov. Daoshi somehow finds that shot. Doken Machine equally takes a bit of damage.
Yu Yang spots the Molotov burning out, and they push out the building. And look at that. Goodness me. Daoshi on a tear for 6-8.
So, beautiful stuff from 6-8 there. Yeah, there was a little bit of clap back. I also love that 33Z just opted not to join the fight whatsoever. He's got his Vector in hand. And delete just the final remaining remember for Fenerbahce here. Let's see what they can get done, but I think 33Z should have this one. He's full HP. He's not done too much, and he's ready to put his name on the casket. The final player from Fenerbahce.
Don't think they know where he is, though. They're worried about this building, but they've overshot by 1. This is not the sort of neighbors. Yeah, it's not the sort of neighbors you really want here for Fenerbahce.
Yeah, just trying to keep it clean, keep it safe for the time being. I don't think anyone's finding him anytime soon. Fully boosted up with a UMP in hand. You can see him there on your bottom left. He is full in concentration mode, just listening for any kind of sound cues that he might be able to leave. There is a vehicle. Potentially that's them faking him out though, so he's got to really be careful. I respect the patience here. Anyway, back to my previous point about these middling of the pack teams. You know, Team Secret, really one that does surprise me a lot here. You know, 8th place, 29 points. I do think they look a lot better than they did in those league finals. You know, when we were looking back on that, John, it really did feel like Team Secret kind of hanging on by a thread towards the end of that one. I mean, they didn't even play, right? They were just holding out for hope. I think that Team Secret, you know, there has been a resurgence for them here in the grand finals themselves. So I want to see more from them. They are still experimenting, though. They're probably the team that's had the most sub-ins so far, you know, mixing and maxing out Kid as well as Mad Toy. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. We all know how good of a leader Mad Toy is. So perhaps, you know, on those messier maps like Sandhawk, it's good to have Mad Toy in there so you can kind of lead them a little bit better in a map that is quite messy.
Pika receiving the push from Godlike, and we'll get the first knock. Not really too many first aids, actually none there. For Pika, only down on the bandages, and 2 players from Godlike are still waiting in the wings. They're going to start to push on up. Jonathan's on the flank, and that's easy pickings from the Beast from India. Jonathan gets the flush as well. Stalwart lose player. 2 from Godlike have fallen down, and Top around the rocks, maybe looking for more action as well. Very split against Clutch God. It's 2 1v1s really at this point here. Neither team really looking to regroup. Jonathan pops a nade over the top to Top. Action spraying around with a micro Uzi, not really finding too much.
Yeah, another nade goes into there, and Clutch God's in a precarious situation now because the nades are just taking a blow. They're kind of funneling him into a position where he can get shot at by enemy team. And so Top will finish that one off. Unfortunately for Godlike, you know, this push has just gone all topsy-turvy for them. And Scry's in a great spot with these nades, as well as the Molotovs. And I think this is the good thing from Stalwart, is they're very patient with these fights. They know they don't have to go fully toe-to-toe with Godlike at the moment. Do get majority of the players back up, though, so now there is a position for them to take. But Scry on this off-angle, beautiful stuff, takes one down, and will take the momentum out the sails here.
Scry in danger, though, as Neo sends out wide. Neo moving down from the top with Jonathan as well, and just gets strafed on there. Neo falling. Now it's back to a 2 versus 2. Resist potential, maybe, to come on through for Godlike as well. Action over the top around the side. Neo goes down first, and Jonathan takes the tickle. Top sliding down the side, but it's not going to matter. The last frag comes on through, and it's eliminations. 3 total coming in for Stalwart.
They'll take that one. It's not the best for them, to be honest with you. Only 2 players remaining here on Miramar. You really want to have 4 come into those final moments. So just like Dave says, might be time to snake it to make it here in these final moments of the game. Action taking a fair lick of damage coming through from 7. One of my favorite players actually is Rip7. You know, I've seen him do so many ridiculous stuff over towards S2G. You know, when he's the last member alive, you still never can count this boy out because he is so clutch on S2G. So keep an eye on him. If you want to, you should do, into the future. Stalwart, though, down to 2. Like I said, it's not the best thing in the world for them. And holding on to this 3rd place spot, not going to be too easy now, especially now you're down to 2 players. So, like I said, with the Dave call-out, snake it to make it. It's time to make it happen for Stalwart.
See how much further they can go. Still got 2 of them. Can't count Top out. Try saying that 5 times
I thought
fast.
you were just trying to say I can't count.
I cannot count. I've been hiding it for too long. It's been weighing down on me. I can't count. That's it. I just had to say it.
Okie dokie. Looking at this, Daoshi moving forward, you know, 6-2-8. Actually, a fairly decent start to their game versus Fenerbahce. Luckily, you know, they were all split quite heavily, and 6-2-8 were able to pick up on that, which went out well. Down 1, though, they're in close quarters combat with some players from Enigma Galaxy at the moment. Enigma Galaxy heavily split. You see Frozen there on our screen. You know, the boy who really brought it back to bear in that last match. Really, really good stuff versus Down 1. We have a quick interview dropping in.
Ya şöyle diyeyim, mesela bir yere kafa girdiğim zaman ve bir yere push attığım zaman Yekta beni en şekilde supportlamaya çalışıyor. Hani adamları özellikle pick etmemeye çalışıyor ve ben rahat oyun kurabileyim diye. İkinci olarak da Kudur, rotasyon konusunda birbirimize çok yardım ediyoruz. O bana yardım ediyor, ben ona yardım ediyorum. O konuda o beni rahatlatıyor ve Nihat da hani ön kısımda kaldığımız zaman, hani rakiplerle yakın temasa girdiğimiz zaman, hani benim yanımda bulunarak rakiplere üstünlük avantajı kurarak, yani sayı avantajı kurarak onlara alabilmemiz için yardım ediyor yani bana.
Yeah, that's pretty good to hear. I mean, really working as a team as well, actually. maybe not doing so well here. To be fair, he's talking about how. That was pretty bad timing. I'll be honest. That's shocking. Oh no. Oh no.
I love that.
But it's just frozen again. I mean, yeah, that's probably the worst timing for that interview you could possibly have asked for.
I think this is the first interview curse we've ever had on a cast in esports ever. A mid cast here, so very unfortunate. I love how Frozen was saying, you know, they really help my rotation. Nihat comes in and saves us, and honestly, they all just die. So
yeah,
sad news here. But we do get a replay from Frozen. Really good stuff. Honestly, look at the swivel on this guy, and I think this is the main thing for me. Look, it's not that Damwon misplayed this. I think it's just purely Frozen outplaying Damwon in those final moments. Really, really well done. Just huge mechanical skill coming out from this guy. And it makes sense because a lot of what he said there is that the team supports him. So he's kind of like the turret they carry with them around the map.
So there's plenty of gunfire going over on the hillside. Then we're around the edge with the M249, but the rest of his team, not so lucky. Freak standing up for Enigma Galaxy. Of course, used to be top dogs, but again, they're suffering. 4 rivals. Plenty of them knocked, a lot of damage sent their way, and Enigma Galaxy lose to pretty lickety split. Blank, he was talking about, you know, it's the tip of the spear that kills you, right? But it's really the shaft that makes it useful.
That's true. In what context?
When you stab people with spears, which is a regular everyday occurrence, right?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you just thrown this one at me. I like it.
From Frozen, I'm going back to the Frozen points.
I see.
Sorry, yeah,
I see. So you're saying Frozen's the tip of the spear, but the team is the one that wields him. I understand now. Really, really good stuff, John. I love your little metaphors you throw in now and again.
Feeling pretty Greek about it.
Yeah, I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. Looking at the map, though, we are having our circle sent up towards Hacienda del Patron at the moment. San Martin currently held by 628. The Infinity coming in hot on the heels, but not looking too hot in their elimination category, right? 4 eliminations total. I mean, just off that last game, remember they went down in 3rd place? They had 0 eliminations that game, John. So I don't know what's happening with the Infinity, but something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong. Damwon just passing by. Enigma Galaxy are rotating in one vehicle. Could be bad if the shots go off, but it's more Damwon taking damage than Damwon giving it.
Well, they're all in 4 separate vehicles, which means they can't return fire there, which is probably the only reason that Enigma Galaxy were able to stay so close to that
just
rotation. Yeah, they just, I mean, yeah, that's fair. You could roll a little bit, but then you're slowing down. You're a sitting duck for that spray. And as long as the driver's keeping you level, I mean, it's dangerous.
It is very dangerous, you know. I completely agree with John. Now, Stalwart right in the center of Hacienda del Patron, so there is opportunity here for Stalwart to actually pick up a few more placement points. Unlikely that they're going to be able to pick up anything else. Max, I don't know why you talk about 4 rifles, man. Like, they're running themselves over now.
Oh no.
But honestly, look, I'm going to disagree with Max right now. And I don't disagree with Max very often because he is one of the smartest guys I know. And the amount of value he brings to that desk is massive. It's massive, all right? But I will disagree with him on this case because I think he was talking about 4 rivals and how they didn't do much in most of their games of the league finals, yet they were doing something here. But if we realistically looked at them that last game, they started in Rozhok, on Rozhok Hill, they moved down to Warehouse, stood there for basically the majority of the game, and then threw themselves at another team and died. I do think it is the same 4 rivals we're seeing from League Finals, unfortunately. And I'm not sure what it is, but there seems to be a sudden urgency placed on them at the 22-minute mark where they feel like they have to do something crazy. And I just wish 4 rivals would keep their gameplay as slow as it is for those first 20 minutes.
Just slowing things down. I mean, it might be the solution for them, but at the moment, they're sat in 9th place, Blank. It's not great, but I'll tell you what that does get you. That gets you $34,500 US, getting 9th place at the end, if you're able to stick out there. So I feel like that's, even if you're not playing super great, that's still pretty good. You do want to be a little bit further up as those jumps do start to really add up as you get up the tables from there, but they should be okay. They should be okay. The question is, do you want to be okay, or do you want to be the greatest?
Yeah, I mean, but that's 4 rivals all the way, right? It's a 4 rivals result. of 9th place, honestly. That's how it was in the league finals. It's how it was in the league play as well. They eked their way in. They didn't do poorly. They didn't do amazingly either. They know how to get to the end of the games. They don't really know how to close them out. Checking out this replay, though.
Oh. No.
How is
like
he
it.
knocked himself? Because he got run over by his teammate. So that, and you can't run over your teammates.
It's
I'm
vehicle
very
right away.
confused.
It's vehicle right away.
It's true, and you're in the way of that vehicle, man. That's all we have to say to you. Down One Gaming currently circling on the Infinity and Stalwart's position. Stalwart trying to go for this this Sun Tzu play, which is act strong when you're weak. And honestly, they're holding down one of the strongest compounds in the circle, just as 2, and that's fair play to them. You know, if you can kind of keep people at bay that way, they don't know you're 2. You just have to send some warning shots out. But again, that does put you at a little bit of a disadvantage. One of you goes down, there's only 1 guy shooting. You know, some people might start to think to themselves, maybe there's only 2 guys in there.
Did Sun Tzu say that? That's pretty good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, act strong when you are weak. Act weak when you are strong.
Ah, that's pretty. It's pretty enlightening. After
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. You throw it in
About-
the shaft analogy. I'm
feeling Greek. You're feeling Chinese.
A little bit Chinese. It's good stuff.
There you go. We're going all over today. I mean, to be fair, it is the Global Championships. We've got teams from all over the world fighting it out for the top spot. And at the moment, the top spot held by the Turkish team next Ria. And they've been doing pretty well.
They have, yeah. Honestly, this game has gone very poorly for them. At one of the worst times, honestly. And if anyone clips that, I don't blame them because it was very funny. But Furious Gaming trying to get away from Alpha 7 at the moment. Now, I respect Alpha 7's play here coming on from the northern side. Worked out very well for the Infinity over on that East League, playing from the northern side of Miramar. A lot of teams don't tend to play up here, or at least in East League they didn't. But here we're seeing Furious Gaming play on this side of the map. Nova's on this eastern side. S2G's up here as well. So I think there's more emphasis on the northern side of the map. So Alpha 7 might be struggling just a little bit with the West coming in here and filling a few of those gaps on the northern side of Miramar. And I love to see this. It's really shifting up the gameplay of what we're seeing from both these regions combined.
Alpha 7 taking shots. Furious Gaming just getting peppered. It's such a difficult movement here on the northern edge, but Alpha 7, they're not out of the woods. They do have to move themselves, and everybody's looking their way. The amount of gunfire that they've been sending out, they've got a lot of attention.
Absolutely, and I think Alpha 7 taking 2 knocks here is horrendous, personally. You know, you have a really good little line to play from, yet you're taking knocks back, and that might be just a case of Furious Gaming having a fantastic little rundown for themselves. They've got a few off angles here. Pappy, obviously, off in the distance. Not the greatest position. We will get to see the zone shrink in exactly 6, 5, 4. I'm not going to do it the entire time, guys. That would be cringe. Sorry. But we will see. And X heads down towards that southeast side. Goodness me. Nova very happy with this one.
Ooh, Furious Gaming holding off the push, and 2 players from Alpha 7 go down yet again. Look at this. They're stuck out in the sticks. The shift goes down southeast and away from them, so they're going to have to move again. And they're going to have to move pretty fast out of the settlements. And Na'Vi now on the south side with a chance to control a little bit of ground here.
Yeah, really good position for Na'Vi with this lineup. And honestly, when they get rolled in, they really do get rolled. And that's the kind of thing which is go from a snowball into an avalanche from this team. Creo, it'll do a little bit more damage, but actually it's Nova from an incredible distance taking shots towards this fight. You can see Paraboy finishing off Revo there as well. And I think that's a few more shots coming their way too. Furious Gaming, I believe they have 1 remaining player, but it's just so many people with eyes on towards A7 at the moment, and that is the risk you run playing from that northern side. And surprisingly, it's Furious Gaming who outlive Alpha 7.
They are going to stay alive. Tiger's in the smoke. I think S2G know there's a guy here. Yeah, look at this. Silas just cooking the nade over the top. Not quite going to land it, actually, there. Rip 7 over the way as well, but S2G can't dally here too long. They have to get on their bikes, or whatever vehicles they have available. A little bit too long on the cook there for Rip 7, and a nade sent back, landing perfectly right next to 2 of them. And he's going to get 1. Silas goes down, Rip 7 low, but he's going to fall in the meantime. The blue at the heels, and S2G, they're suffering. They didn't move fast enough.
Four Rivals coming against Ralph, the remaining player from Enigma Galaxy, and he ruins Four Rivals before he is taken down himself. But the two players that went down earlier for Enigma Galaxy, Ralph gets vengeance. Lives out on Sandhawk, but frags out here on Miramar.
Nova on the east, Na'Vi on the south. It's going to be difficult to leave these compounds, to leave these buildings, get towards this open ground. Team Secret, Kid trapped in the blue, nothing to do. Down one gaming, make the cross.
It's a huge amount of damage though for along the way. Infinity taking shots as well, but it's Junie holding this one down. Massive nade comes over his way. I can only believe that was from Stalwart themselves. Just the two players making this one happen. I'm getting flashbacks to BTR, but it's Stalwart now.
Trying to hold out Top and Action. If there's two players left that you want on this team, it is Top and Action. Another player from the Infinity falls. They got 6 elims this time around, so they've more than doubled that count for themselves. But they will not be going any further. Down one eliminated as well on the northwestern side. From these buildings, nothing but death seems to come for so many of these teams.
5 teams remaining now, John, and Stalwart's one of them. A hell of a challenge here in this game, and they've overcome it. Really, really well done. I think a 5th place, regardless of what happens now, is beautiful for Stalwart with the beginning they had. Nades coming through from Sunan. See what you can get done with this one. It's a long-range one. I feel really bad for S2G because they whiffed 3 nades, in which case, you know, Tigers In comes back with an absolute corker of a nade, gets almost 2 of them. 6-8, rocking up the position. I believe they only have 3 players alive. Now Top has to stop this one from going through. Nice nade, though, begins the fight.
Gets a lot of damage. Action as well, bobbling one up towards Sunan. If he steps too close, could be dangerous. Top back and looking for some healing as well. Sunan doesn't have the info, but he knows where Action is. Pushes around the side, allows him to get the gun out, but it's not going to matter. Sunan gets away cleanly, and Top now looking for some retribution as Na'Vi looking to enter the fight as well. Top has the spray. He's looking good, and he finds one more. Yu Yang, though, puts the final nail in the coffin, gets that final elimination. But in the meantime, Na'Vi have swept this hillside. They have control on the south.
Nova just down to Paraboy remaining. Final player for this team. It's the last guy you'd want alive as well. He has just been storming it throughout the East League and now comes into the grand final. We're put down by Duck off in the distance. Deke Xavier hold out strong for a little bit longer, but it's Na'Vi who are starting to sweep now. And if there ever was a broom in the lobby, it would be Na'Vi themselves because they leave Miramar clean.
So much sand everywhere. You'd think it'd be too difficult, but no. The boys of Na'Vi really strengthening their position now. You can see Tixi covering this angle. Yu Yang looking to get that healing off and will do so. But Tixi giving them the runaround. He has complete broadside view on Yu Yang. Needs to be careful of 33Z and isn't overstepping. This is good from Tixi. I like it.
Yeah, this is honestly a case of just holding back the rabid dog that we know Tixi can be and just keeping them at bay. But now looks for at least 1 flush there. Another elimination on board. 33 so it goes out, but they'll finish him off, and now just 2 players remain. Now this is the Na'Vi that we want to see, and it's so frustrating watching Na'Vi at times because we know how good they are, yet that fire, we just don't see it out of them sometimes. Most of the time we see that ember and then suddenly a bonfire and then back to an ember again. We'll see if Na'Vi can finish out this game, though I've seen stranger things happen on Miramar.
I mean, they started this game with I think about 12 points coming on through. So a chicken dinner here would be phenomenal to launch them up those standings, get them back in that conversation. DX Xavier with the duo, Duck and Lamborghini, hunkered down.
Keeping it quiet for the time being. Fingers on lips, trying not to make too much noise. I think Na'Vi has a clear idea of where they are, though, regardless of the amount of decibels these 2 players are putting out. And this is just going to be a slow, sad suffocation through for DX Xavier. All angles are now covered.
But they're not really doing anything. They're just trying to survive. Maybe they think that there's still other players alive, still other teams going.
Honestly, sadly, at this point in time with the circle we've got here, where DXavier have to move out into open ground, Na'Vi's playing this perfectly. They don't have to move. They can play outside of the circle as well because they know they have the entirety of the angles over on this eastern side, the western side, and the south side. They've cleared it all out. They know that there is only one location that DXavier can be. And I really like this. This is very, very surgical coming through from Na'Vi.
They're playing passive, and I don't see it going any other way than them just clenching this one down. They get the vision. Kitsune has the side swipe. One does get taken down. Tixi felled. The Lamborghini low and does get knocked. Just ducked now, and they have the off angle. Meku looks to wing out and handle it. Na'Vi take the chicken dinner.
Great finish there from Na'Vi. You can hear the crowd cheering as well. It's not a virtual crowd, it's real. It's in my room. All the hundreds of them in this tiny office. However, Na'Vi finishing out that game very, very strong. And again, this is the bonfire that I want to see come through from Na'Vi because they are a fantastic team. But you can see them, they're not celebrating as of yet. There's still a long way to go. The high fives are coming through. That's fine. I like it. But I think that this team knows that there is still a bit of a mountain to climb here. But that's the type of performance we want to see from Na'Vi. You know, we only really saw that ending taking out DXavier, but they were also able to cleanly finish off the majority of the players from Nova and clean out that western side as well. It just really is one of the things where I want to see more of that from Na'Vi.
Yeah, 10 limbs on the game as well. It's a fairly standard chicken dinner total, but they are going to get a whole heap of points for that one. 25 points added to their tally. They should be pretty happy. Let's head back to the desk.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the tip of the spear that kills you, it's the shaft of the spear that helps the spear go into you.
Who's the
wise words of John Allen there. I got so confused. I felt so bad for Blank because I think he had no idea where he's going with, and I think even John didn't know where he's going with.
He found logic to it,
and Blank found logic and gave it reason. But either way, Na'Vi did take home a chicken dinner, and again, a team that we've been kind of critical of starting slow in events. Of not performing up to the expectations we have. And hey, 7, they get themselves a big victory.
The main question now is, are they going to be able to carry this momentum from the win, especially going into the last match before we go to the day 2? I would personally love to see it. How about you, Max?
We want to see that Alpha 7 type of momentum built up for the side of Na'Vi. Hopefully that's what's going to happen. This game was a pretty straightforward one too. That big 4-man split that was really well executed. They regroup on, I believe it was Matic at one point in that compound, and they just waited it out. And the moment they saw that circle starting to shift away and they knew the numbers already dwindled, they started getting involved. They started to get those frags and close off the game in good fashion.
What I loved as well is that they regrouped, but they also decided to branch out again. Once they realized that there weren't really any teams nearby, they decided to branch out and actually use the terrain changes and use the cover that the terrain was providing for them, and it worked out wonders for them.
We can see here our results from the last match. Obviously, Na'Vi taking home the 10 eliminations, so 25 points in total. But for me, what was kind of a letdown actually was Nova. I feel like they were playing really kind of slow towards the end there. They were kind of using their position to their advantage.
Yeah.
And they had all 4 players left alive. Then unfortunately for them, just out of nowhere, they got completely eliminated out in this one.
Yeah, it was actually really well played in the middle of the game here because they also had very similar to, for example, Na'Vi. They had a 2-2 split and they were trying to regroup on the compound next to the road. I think it was on Jimmy and King at one point. The execution was good, but I did not spot out exactly what happened to them, but they just got contested when I believe that would have been the easiest rotation in the game they could have went for. But when you have across the road, of course, 7, you know that's always going to get somewhat tricky for some teams, and unfortunately for Nova, that ended up being the case.
Yeah, it didn't work for this. I mean, I think we saw, what was it, S2G as well. They were trying to cross that road, and it just didn't work out for them. Even though they were trying to use the smokes, the teams being able to have that height advantage was just way too much for them.
Well, we're seeing here, a little bit sad for some teams. Stalwart Esports finished 3rd in league stage, 3rd in finals, and are currently sitting in 3rd in grand finals. So hopefully for them, they can at least continue to grow up here in the rankings. They're only behind by 2 points from Enigma Galaxy, as you can see in number 2. Looking down the list, Nova in 5th place. Infinity able to get 6 eliminations, I believe, in that last
10
match.
limbs, wow.
10 limbs, yeah. They still, actually, they no longer have the least eliminations in the game. That's actually Furious in 15th place.
Yeah, Infinity actually executed that game pretty well, I would say, in the way that they avoided everything that was happening inside of San Martin trying to play towards the cliffside, but Na'Vi...
Really quickly, the fact that Na'Vi won that match, got 25 points, and they only got into 9th place. That shows how lackluster they've been over the course of today.
I mean, we were sort of towards the top. It was already maybe a 15-point discrepancy at one point between some teams, so it does take a lot more effort if you want to start moving away from that second page, right? So you're going to need these big results and remain consistent throughout the rest of these games if you want to try and solidify yourself there. Consistent strength. I know I'm not good in math, but geometry, I'm okay at. I'm okay at. That's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with him because I do not trust him when he says he's good in shapes and geometry. What is a trapezoid?
Yeah.
That's the result I expected from this one. But as we move forward and start to look at a couple of other teams, again, this is, well, one match left. It's the final match of the day. That means you're 1/3 through the entire tournament. And as you were saying, Max, and Seven, I want you to take over, like, there's no room for error for some of these teams anymore. If you're on that bottom part of the second page, if you don't start performing now, your chances of taking home $1.5 million goes out the window.
It's going to be one of the teams that you were actually critiquing earlier. It's going to be S2G. I was really hoping they would be able to take advantage of some of the positions they were able to do here in Miramar. It didn't end up working out, so we mentioned the circle shifted away from them. But overall, this S2G, now I'm starting to get a little bit worried, right? Earlier, I was like, okay, they're just kind of playing their game. It's just day one. But they're just not providing me what I want to see out of a championship team.
Yeah.
They're just not being able to showcase that. Hopefully, in this last game, that will change because it will set them up nicely for tomorrow. But along the likes of what you just mentioned too, Jason, Na'Vi was able to get the win. They only were able to push up to 9th place. These other teams at the top, they're taking full advantage. They're being very consistent as well.
Though another team actually just stepped up pretty nicely at the end of this game. Sure, it was not a win. They could have potentially pushed a little bit further. It's actually 6-8. They barely moved this entire game. They were playing the mountains south of San Martin, which was a very strong position. And they get kept so many teams. I'm thinking Damwon. I'm thinking also Big Xavier. I'm also thinking at one point, I think it was Infinity. They actually were trying to get in strong positions and go aggressive really early on in that late game session. So I appreciate it from 6-8, and they need to step it up because, as we said, if you're at the bottom now, we need to start seeing some results, and they started to get a few points here.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Fierce Gaming, another team that you kind of touched on, Seven, a bit earlier on today, they are currently sitting down towards the very bottom of the table in the bottom 2. I mean, again, I think for teams like that, like we looked at with Zeus last year, it's a learning experience. I think realistically, you can't expect them to win the whole thing. You can't really expect them to be top 5, though they obviously would love to. But for them in particular, it's the fact of, all right, we're playing against these East teams for the first time. We're playing against these international rosters for the first time. They need to take every single bit of information they get, bring it back with them going into this year now competitive play. Because as we saw from James Young, the prize pool is even bigger this year.
Yeah, I think with Furious Gaming, the main thing that we just haven't seen is the 2-star players. The main player, which is Papi Potro, we really haven't been able to see anything out of them. And then the second player, which was able to actually be a huge impact towards the performance in the finals of West, was Scream. None of those 2 players have been able to show up. And I know you were posing a question earlier. What's going to happen if those players don't show up? Well, we're seeing it right now perfectly with Furious Gaming.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the downside to having only like those 1 or 2 players in a roster who can perform, which we've seen a big change up in this year alone of like, if you're going to bring a team to play, to compete, you have to have everyone that can frag out when you need to. You can have everyone who can step up at that given moment. And some teams, unfortunately, just don't have that deep power within the team.
Yeah, you got some teams like, for example, I would say Star Wars, and we mentioned Star Wars quite a bit, that they have even their support players, like I think the first game it was 5 eliminations going the way of Scry, and he's the one normally to set up action on top. So if you can have the entire team perform well, that is what you're going to go for. Though, here we're going to be taking a quick look into the clips of this game, and especially on Miramar, the rotation, I believe we're going to take a closer look. Once again on the top team, there's going to be Na'Vi, and we're going to see that split actually, Seven, that was so well executed, the way they regrouped, and as you mentioned also, how they took that position and that little bit of an extra breathing space towards that late game was just so well executed on their end.
Yeah, it was perfect with Matic as well.
I think it's really tell.
I think it's them.
Wait, what? Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's actually talk about what we saw from earlier from Matic. He was able to hold that compound. He was able to maintain that, and he was able to relay any information to his teammates that were actually towards the top. And as soon as they realized, hey, you know what? We don't have to worry from the south. There's currently not any teams coming to attack us. So why not? You guys push up to where you were and use that height advantage to our advantage, pretty much.
Yeah, I think their position's a little bit wrong. Like, they're a little bit further down south to really display what was happening here in this circle. They had that split, and this is the moment that they understood. We are going to regroup in that position where Matic is currently playing, which is a strong compound. Not many teams had an opportunity to contest that position, so just instantly regroup, play from that position, wait for the numbers to dwindle, as I mentioned earlier. And the moment you know you got that man advantage for sure, that's when you start moving out, that's when you start fragging out, and that's when you try try and confirm that win.
And this is what we want to see out of Navi, right? We want them to be able to put themselves in a position so they can actually showcase their skills. We know they have some amazing players where they're able to frag out. We just haven't been able to see it. And this is perfect right here. Using that height advantage. Boy, I wish I had a little bit more height in my life. I'm really sure.
You got you another box there, come on.
But yeah, with Navi, I mean, I would personally love to see more stuff out of this. This is the impressive Navi that we enjoy seeing. And we've only seen it one time. Hopefully they can carry that momentum.
I think the important thing to keep in mind, though, for Navi is they have had a very lackluster performance so far in this event. But this is a big confidence game for them to really get that confidence back. You know, remind them, yeah, we can compete against the best teams in the world. We have a position in the top echelons of our rankings, and I feel like this was a much needed win for them.
I mean, it's a proven fact that they can now, with this game, confirm wins. You know, actually transition it into a chicken dinner. You talked about it earlier, Seven, and that's a very important point. They are not a team that's renowned for their momentum. I want to see them build something bigger around this game. If they can do so, get maybe not even another win, just another top 3 and try and get some extra eliminations here and there. That is what is missing from Na'Vi, and I want to see them step up in that regard.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned confidence, because in that last game, we actually saw something really big. We saw Star Wars and Godlike. We saw them being able to take the fight, and we actually saw Godlike being able to kind of cause some damage. Star Wars ended up losing 2 players. Ultimately, it didn't end up working out for Godlike, but I feel like the hiatus that they have in regards to international play, this is a team that needs to win those. Even if you're just going to be able to knock a couple of players, that's going to be a huge confidence booster for you.
I think for me, one thing I would never say about like Jonathan and the boys from Godlike is a lack of confidence in this team. I mean, we know how strong they can be. We've seen them be dominating all in the world actually back in 2019, not too long ago. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to head back to a short break here. We'll get things ready to go for our final match of the day. We'll see you guys in just a few here for match number 6.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. and the first steps. I am the 1+9.
All right, well, welcome back here while we get things ready to go for our final match here of our very first day of play. I'm just waiting for this one day to just zoom in so far, just hit Max in the face. That would be hilarious. Just Captain Max spending several gaming there on the end to start to talk about this last game. And as we ended things off talking about confidence, we're to come back to that yet again here going into the last match. Now, obviously for these teams, very important to have a decent final match, because if you have a bad game, then you're going to be thinking about that all night long, right? And for some of these teams, they desperately start to need it. As we mentioned before, Na'Vi jumping up to only 9th place off of that victory. 25 points, and then we get up to 9th place. That's really a true telling of how unfortunate they have been so far in this event. But a lot of the teams out there, I want to see some big plays out of them. I want to see, again, maybe a repeat out of some teams. Maybe see Stalwart get a second chicken dinner. Who knows? They started things off with one.
Yeah.
Could they finish off is always going to be the question in my head.
Yeah, I mean, one of the teams that I would like to see step up big time here would be Team Secret. That was my prediction of earlier. Didn't have time to talk about it just yet, but this is a team that has so much history to them. You have High Shots, you have also Matoy that's been mentioned a few times, that you don't have many players that played every single world tournament like a PMGC, and yet they did it in 2019, 2020, and now in 2021. So they have not performed as to what you would initially expect from a roster that stacked with so much history, and I need to see potentially them able to bookend it with a good result. But from what we've seen so far today, they don't even get remotely close to those wins, so they need to get consistently to that late game if possible.
Yeah, I think for me, the team that I'm going to have to go with is going to be Fenerbahce. I called them out earlier. Nothing has happened with them. Honestly, this is a huge shock for me with how they were able to play during Wesley, during the West Finals. This was a team that was very consistent. Even if they didn't get chicken dinners, right, they were at least able to get those consistency top placements. They were actually starting to work on their elim strats. They were actually able to frag out even more and push themselves a little bit higher, maintain themselves within those top 6 for the West. But right now, we just haven't seen anything out of them.
Yeah, we haven't seen much out of them, unfortunately. But again, there's still time. There's still plenty of time to do so, though the chance to actually, to be able to do that is starting to dwindle away. But you know what, Max? I do have a question for you, and I trust you with this answer.
Oh.
Who's one of our lovely sponsors here at PMGC?
OnePlus.
Ooh. Okay, but what's so great about the OnePlus?
It's the OnePlus.
120 hertz.
Go, good luck with that. I'm not going to break.
The OnePlus 9 Pro gives you smoothest gaming experience with 90 FPS. It's not that big in real life, though. It would be amazing if it was, because I couldn't fit it in my pocket, but I would carry it on my back with me, and I would probably finally be able to play PUBG Mobile correctly, because I'm just terrible at it. I need every single bit of help I can get. But make sure to check them out here, sponsoring PMGC. They did in the league stage, didn't hear the finals. Maybe they'll sponsor us personally one day. Who knows?
I know why you're sending this. I'm waiting for mine. It's coming.
It's in the mail.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's in the mail.
Yeah.
It's in the mail. Yeah. But it was sent to my address, so unfortunate for you.
Oh.
But maybe we can actually get our teams to watch here a little bit earlier than normal, because I feel like we can really go into this a little bit more than we have in the past. And for you, Max, you already talked about them. I want you to finish off your conversation.
I'm going to go on Stalwart for this one. For this last game. Stalwart, yeah, I mean, they started off with a win. I would like to see a bookend here with another win, right? And we're going to break the curse of that 3rd place, so Jason, eventually. So get in 2nd place. I'll be happy to see it.
I'm the exact same. I want to be able to... I picked the same team, Stalwart Esports. I want them to finish off on a win as well. I feel like that win, and then they ended up with the 13th place with only just one elim. It's not really what I'm expecting to be out of a championship team. If they can finish off here with a win, I think it would be great as well.
Yeah, for me, I actually went with Na'Vi, because I don't want them to be a spark in the pan or whatever that saying is. Yes, it's great they had a victory last match, but for me, it's more about, can they replicate a performance like that? They don't have to win, but I want to see them get really far into the match. I want to see them pick up some good eliminations, because I feel like for them, winning and then going back to losing again and the status they've been doing so far would be a big hit to confidence.
I think I would take a top 5 for them as a win. Even if they don't actually get the win, a top 5 with at least maybe call it 3 elims, that would be a win for me, because it's completely different than what we're used to seeing. They get a win and then they end up with a 10th place, 13th place. That's just not going to work here if they want to challenge for that championship.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but back to the point you mentioned earlier, right? Momentum. We need to see them try and build something upon a big win like this. If it's their morality that's feeling really good after that game, like, okay, we just got a big win, let's try and build something upon that. I think that is the mentality we need to see from this team. A top 5, as I said, I agree. If they get top 5, that's a win in my books. They'll be looking good.
Also, a special mention to Nova. I mean, let's not play this down, right? They're the defending champions of PMGC 2020. They've been a little bit lackluster, though they've been kind of hovering around decent performances, but they've not had a breakthrough performance to propel them forward into 1st place and to take home another title.
They're doing the exact same that they did last year. They're taking their time, they're gathering information, they're dissecting that data. And tomorrow, especially going into the last day, we're going to see a completely different Nova.
Okay, I figured out what it was. Flash in the pan. I'm pretty sure John Allen was going to correct me if I didn't do it myself. So let's head on over to him. And of course, Blank.
And so then I said, you know, Jason, you just can't. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hi, guys. Welcome to Erangel. Actually, it was Blank who was getting more aggy about the flash in the pan in the backstage. I'm going to throw you under the bus.
Outing me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't believe you're outing me about that. I was only getting aggy because you were attacking Jason and I was defending his honor
It's true.
in that moment.
It's true.
It's true. We are checking out the final game of the day here today on Erangel, which will close out our first day of the PMGC Grand Finals. Remember, there's only 3 days here total, so tomorrow is going to be even more critical for a lot of these teams, setting themselves up with a good base of operations, a good amount of solid points to really make that run for the big prize money on that final day. But today is all about setting that foundation for yourself here and getting ready to blast off tomorrow.
A plane from the east down to the southwest. Zucky and North Georgia a little bit further afield than maybe some of the teams would like, but everybody dropping on out for the final game of the day. Team Secret, though, unfazed up to Severny.
Straight up there, I mean, you know, we did see them play towards Kameshki quite a few times, but Team Secret started to strike out just a little wee bit here. It's good to see Fenerbahce over towards farm side, taking up that position, gives them a lot of control early on around Milta, around those bridge areas on that eastern side. So Stalwart going to be a little bit careful about that one. But we do get this western shift down towards that southwest side, which has a lot of water in it currently, and a lot of Sosnovka as well, for practically half of it. And in that situation, you know, you're looking at this, and you're almost certain that it's not going to head towards Sosnovka. So you will get a mass exodus over towards Gatka region. But this starts off well for Nova here, and perhaps Jason might just be able to see Nova do a little bit better in this game, because definitely we couldn't count them out for the last game. They had some great off angles. Paraboy was playing out of his mind, so potentially here's a good chance for Nova to start picking up some points here. Only sat in 5th place, so it's a good position to start from.
I mean, you know, they've been fizzling, they've been sputtering, they've been sparking just a little bit, but they haven't flashed just yet, you know? So we're waiting for that. We're waiting for that big spark flash fizzle combo.
You had to go even harder, didn't you? You just had to do it.
Yeah.
You can't help yourself in these situations,
I had to
unfortunately.
do it
but
to him.
yeah, oh well. But
Hey, you make
back.
fun of my spear, I'll make fun.
No one's making fun of your spear, dear. Come on, just leave it out. Leave it out. Anyway,
I appreciate the rhyme.
Looking back at the game, we got Stalwart again down towards. I can't. Yeah, we go. I can see him again now. Down towards Nova Neuer at the moment. Obviously, quite the ways out currently. I can no longer see them again. That's fine.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. I'm getting a nice overview of the map right now. That's cool. Back on board. We also have a couple more teams down here. Navi's actually dropped down towards Sosnovka, as well as the Infinities. It's going to make it even harder for the Infinity to leave this region. With S2G holding out and Navi front-loading this one, you've got a double guard going on, so the Infinity might struggle to move out of this location. With today, to be quite honest, you're not being hugely confident with their elimination power. It's a bit of a struggle. Again, big shout out to you guys at home. 1 million are watching right now. So pick up your 1,200 tokens over at www.pubgmobile.com/redeem. That's / and get those great awards for yourself, because honestly, they are really cool. They are really, really cool.
Oh, when I remember watching TV as a child, and whenever they would put a link for whatever they were doing on the screen, and they would say / and I was like, that's the coolest thing that anyone could ever say. And now we get to say it, Blank. How lucky are we? I know you nearly said it. You put it back in. I was like, you know what? He knows what's up.
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out quick and then, make the reference afterwards. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, looking at the map, there are a fair few teams off towards that eastern side currently. We do see 628 playing down towards Quarry side, which is very, very typical for this team. S2G are currently on a 2-2 split at the moment, down towards Ferry Pier and off towards the south side of Pmgc on yellows. So they have a fair bit of ground to cover, but right now they should be safe. There's roads, paths available to them to regroup nice and quick, which I think they are currently doing now.
And more gaming on the train. Moving down southwest, Nova waiting the wings. Alpha 7, they didn't have the best of times with that with that plane path, obviously liking to drop out to that northwest, but at the moment, they're just rolling across the hillsides right now. Not too many meds on board for Carrillo. Doesn't even have body armor as well, so a little bit light on loot for Alpha 7.
I mean, this team kind of needs to get a little bit of a move on again because they're starting to slip on the standings. You know, 6th place, it's not a bad position, but you come off what was absolutely fantastic performance over towards that West League, practically blowing everyone out the water in that region. You know, 6th place is not really good enough in my opinion. I think this team should be at least in the top 3 by the end of the first day, but right now we're seeing them 3 places down from even sitting on the bottom of that podium. So a little bit interesting for me so far, and I do think, you know, there has been a bit of an issue with the sales here, maybe tattered a little bit, the confidence not quite there anymore. I do think that needs to be slight improvement from this team. Still 41 points, still very, very good. That could easily all change tomorrow once Alpha 7 has a bit of better grip on the current region. The way that everyone's playing in this, the kind of rotations people are going for. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow.
Looking for adaptation, looking for better grips, I guess. There we go.
Yeah.
See Lord gripping onto that mobile there. Down the bottom side of the screen. Enigma Galaxy. I mean, they have tumbled a little bit. They're still on 60 points. I mean, that's still a great total for this first day. Even if they don't get any points here, that would put them at a 10-point average on the nose. So it's still a good, solid performance in terms of just raw money-earning potential, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the main point I tried to make before I got grippy and slippy towards the end of that little analogy was that, you know, it's just not a position I expected them to be in. And I think that things can change quite easily and quite quickly with the way that the point distribution currently is. I don't think anyone's like far and away ahead of everyone else, especially with that last game with Enigma Galaxy going out early, next Ruya going out early as well. It's really given an opportunity for these teams to start catching up. I think for Stalwart, that was the biggest winner in my eyes, especially for that team, because even playing with 2, they managed to get to that 5th place, which has secured them a nice points total down towards that 3rd place, where they could have easily slipped off the podium.
Dangerous waters for them. A couple of teams have headed central. I mean, Damwon and Nova probably the most closely fought right now. Enigma Galaxy sent through earlier, and 628 as well. The crossing from the Infinity has started to come through as Na'Vi got out of the way in the meantime, and Fenerbahce have actually moved S2G a little bit further out west.
Well, S2G, you know, keeping it big chilling on that coastal side by Ferry Pier. Right now, it's this fight between Damwon Gaming and Nova that interests me most, because this is very akin to what we usually see from Damwon Gaming, at least recently, is a very quick exchange towards that central position of the map. Let's go for an A. King takes it right on the feet there, blows up in his face. That's a great start for the fight here for Damwon Gaming, and then they can start to try and push the advantage a little bit further. Paraboy tries to head towards that position, gets the smoke out in hand.
Clean knock there, but King moving down that hillside, getting back towards the rest of the team, but in comes Junie. The forward guard getting rattled just a little bit and sprayed down. A nice hold on that push against Damwon as they step a little bit too far forward. They weren't prepared for those off angles. You can see Fabian there getting peppered away. Paraboy looks for the shots with the DP. He gets back in the buggy. I'm not sure about that one, Fabian, but he's got to go down behind that position. Now Paraboy moves on for more.
Paraboy?
He is not waiting around, not hanging about for anyone, and Damwon Gaming are going to suffer fatal consequences.
An unbelievable fight coming through here for Paraboy. Takes down 3, won't get the full squad wide, but what more can you ask for from the star player coming through from Nova? Really good stuff, and not only does that secure them that team fight, it secures them a very good central position on the map. And with Damwon being sent away to that northern side where teams are trying to find a little bit of a foothold, it's only really a matter of time before that final player gets picked up from Damwon. So honestly, really, really well played there to you boys from Nova.
You see, now getting a cheeky little flush there on the northwestern edge. Godlike and 4 rivals close to one another. And speaking of footholds, Blank on the south side, the Infinity have managed to cross fully, and they're now actually taking a little bit of a crash over towards Fenerbahce's position, but there's plenty of fighting going on in Gatka Fields in the meantime. Godlike moving in towards Gatka Main. Zepu pops the nade around the side, but Jonathan is in first and caught without gun in hand. Tries to hit the drop, but it's not going to be fast enough on the weapon swap. Finds yet another flash for Godlike.
Godlike made this one look a little bit
Pan.
easy. With Forest coming through as well. Taking down one of the players off in the distance. Now it's just Lift remaining for this team. I don't know for how long. Doesn't look too happy about it.
Do they know he's up on this balcony? They're scanning all the buildings. Jonathan being careful, being tentative, spraying down the door, and yeah, they're going to know now. They know exactly where this guy's playing. So much damage being poured on through, and it's Clutch God to deal the final blow. Eliminations taken away. 3 now total for Godlike in Gatka.
Nice fight comes through from the Infinity to at least keep the boys from S2G back for a little bit longer, as well as Fenerbahce. But I think S2G set up this fight very nicely for themselves going forward, especially their positioning right now, circling around the Infinity, trying to clean up the scraps from this previous fight that just occurred. Mela just sends off to the distance, managed to keep himself in cover. But Silas might just be able to take some shots, but Mela's just a little bit too quick on the draw there.
But Na'Vi are coming across the bridge in the meantime as well, so Mela has to be careful in this position on the south. The rest of Infinity probably going to be looking to back it up. Mela should know that Tixie's here. And the rest of Na'Vi are going to be paying attention to this position as well. Shots raining in, and Matic has a beautiful angle. The question is, how long can Tixie last? Probably going to have to fall back to the building.
Mela behind the buggy. Still shots coming through, and Matic will take him down. Nice and easy there. Just a couple of DP shots. Seb's on a dinner plate. Your boys are in full right now towards the south side of the island. We move away from Sosnovka, and now Na'Vi can start to keep that momentum going. Like I said, they need to fan the fires, keep that bonfire lit, because we know how good these guys are. And if they can finish today on a strong note, coming in tomorrow, you know, that 9th place could easily change.
I mean, they didn't. They started, I think, in sort of 11th place in the game before that, and obviously doing so well in the last one. They've catapulted all the way up and looking good to challenge all the way up towards 4th position, potentially. I mean, a 5-point differential, 6-point differential between them and Infinity. You can see 9th to 4th, a very, very tight field in the middle. And you were talking about that sort of, that peloton, right? That middling pack that is so, so tightly knit. And it's worth so much money to climb towards the top of.
Yeah, it's easy to trip up over other people towards the middle of that peloton where everyone's fighting so hard. Damwon Gaming's final player in Forest trying to hold back the time from Team Secret. Managed to send Jumper back. Damwon, as far as here, looking like a 4-man team at the moment, but Jumper looks like he's got his number. Looks to throw a nade over the top.
Kid as well on the angle, watching for the run out. Jumper with a nade right into the perfect position, but Forrest is out wide. Doesn't go down, but there's 4 players from Team Secret. And Forrest falls back. He gets out of the ditch.
Stalwart, I mean, they've found their way in on that western bridge too, but they do take a knock. How much further they can get here, but they are up against Na'Vi at least. Now Team Secret just looking to finish out this final player. Down 1. Not much longer to live here for them, I don't suppose.
Forrest is still biding time, waits for the swing, but it's not going to work. Fredo finds the final down 1 player, and they will be going down and out. 7th place at the moment, 39 plus 1, so 40 points going in right now.
Stalwart lose one of the plays to Na'Vi here. Beautiful nade comes through. Godlike once again trying to go up against 628. It's either way. Nox coming through. Klushko does get flushed and now only down to 3. 628 still have an opportunity to bring that player back up into action. Godlike very much in the midst at the moment.
31 elims for next Ruya. That's nuts. 11 more than Nigma Galaxy. And 41.9% of those coming from Frozen? I mean, it's insane.
It's pretty nutty, right? This guy has been on fire today despite the name. Honestly, next Ruya, despite them being in first place, we're still waiting for a little bit more from them. Here on our angle, stuck center on the ridge side, looking for any opportunity to move into this circle. Nova still with 4 though, after that brilliant start to their game earlier.
Doing pretty well. 6-8, I mean, they have lost a player a little bit earlier on those hillsides. Alpha 7 now starting to be a part of this conversation on the hillside at the top of Godlike. And Zigod sending in towards Yu Yang here. 33Z on the backup as well. And there should be backup coming through from Godlike, but that's a low HP player right there. Yu Yang drops the nade at the feet, and it's actually Zigod who takes both of them down. It's 2 team knocks. It's disaster for Godlike. These nades have not been playing well for them today, Blank. Maybe they should keep the pins in next time.
I think so. I think it's so awkward as well when you've got a guy jumping around the corner, you've got a nade in hand, you see a nade at your feet, you drop it right in front of yourselves, blow both the teammates up in that situation. So just playing under pressure there, Zigod lets it get the better of him. Unfortunate stuff, and 6-8 live to fight another day, yet they are on the southwest edge. So still got further to move in. Next year though, this circle actually favors them, as well as Furious Gaming and a nice compound towards the northeast, but a lot of teams still have to make their way in. Nova looking to hold out that western side. Still a lot of field in this final circle, so slightly awkward to play. You can see S2G just trying to make their way through the wheat fields.
Enigma Galaxy as well, regrouping towards the top of the hillside. Right next to Ruya. Maybe looking to take that top spot back. Only 6 points separate them right now. So they'll be hanging on for that one. No one really making that first move. Fenerbahce low, close by. The Infinity split up as well in the fields. Godtani and Logan playing separate positions. Blank, Godtani made an incredible play in the East League from a field cabin, from a field shack. We'll see if they can repeat it.
I think it's where they tend to play very well here, you know, back of one another. I do think when they lose Godtani, a lot of that confidence kind of just slips away. I like the ebbing tide for this team, so really do need to keep that boy back up in an action. Eagles right getting in my face there, but hopefully it's the beak from 6-8 that finds its mark here versus S2G, but it's the nades instead.
Oh my goodness me. What can you do? You're just completely left out in the open there. Eliminations coming on through thick and fast. 7 now on the cards for 6-8. A really solid total. Down in 10th at the moment. Looking to jump up a little bit higher. Plenty of highest eliminations so far in the lobby.
I mean, that's just 6-8 as 2 players decimating the entirety of S2G there, and that's the danger of playing in a shack. It's just so easy to lay the heavy ordnance down. Godtani goes down, and that is not what you want to see from this team. Na'Vi making that one happen. Enigma Galaxy, you know, they were in a slight scuffle with next Ruya. You know, first place and second place respectively. Fenerbahce also looking towards the position, but it's Team Secret taking down 2 here, hopefully.
Team Secret and Alpha 7 on this northern edge, and Enigma Galaxy retreating from this fight. Alpha 7 take first blood there into the fight, and a nade comes in the back. Team Secret taking some flak back, but it's not going to quite break them just yet.
Looking at Team Secret, you know, they're going to have to back off of this one. Next Ruya has a good position with the smokes and the trees to actually pick up both their players, get back into position. Godlike does go down. It will be them seen back up to 22 points. That in 14th place currently. It's not a great place to be. Again, all these players just trying to warm up to this massive field of incredible teams. Not to say that Godlike is not an incredible team either. You know, the amount of experience coming through from that team is unreal, and it really does feel like a match made in heaven.
Strays down from next Ruya. Team Secret still holding on. Still have Kid a little bit further out for the backup. The core 3 on the forefront now. Next Ruya going to have to move towards Enigma Galaxy, one of whom is knocked at the moment, but very resible in their position right now.
Alpha 7 taking their time, John, on this western side. Actually able to chime into this fight, which is great news for them. You know, ringing the bell of death for Team Secret. See if they can get away from this one, but the more I think it's Alpha 7 looking like they are on top. Kids off in the distance could prove to be a bit of an issue, but now they start to move in. And I think if they can dismount Team Secret from this spot, potentially there's a chance here for Alpha 7.
An opening, a sliver, a glimmer of hope, but is it enough? Will they realize that hope, that desire as the crash comes through? 1, 2 falls, and the third pacing around as Carrillo looking to stand tall. And might be able to find Kid on the off angle, but iShots moves on in, and they want to wipe out Alpha 7. This threat at their back to be able to take on next Ruya, and Carrillo will go down. That's Alpha 7 eliminated. 3 players for Team Secret to move on forwards past this Bastion.
Really good stuff coming through from Team Secret there to hold off versus Alpha 7, and not good news for Alpha 7 at all. You know, the best of the best coming through from West, losing against Team Secret, who we've always felt like kind of was a lukewarm pick over towards the East League. You know, they've really started to bring it back, and I was a massive fan of the Team Secret roster changes, but it feels like finally they're starting to glue together now and make those massive performances actually reality.
A knock over towards Nova slows them down on the south side of Enigma Galaxy, and it couldn't come at a better time for them. Knock sent over. 2 of them are down right now, and they have to be worried about Na'Vi, so no great pushes coming on through for Nova on the south.
Again, though, Na'Vi playing from the south. Great position for them. Played it last game over towards Miramar, starting to make the sweep. And it's a great identification quite early on because we are seeing a massive amount of players over towards that northern side of the map. Nova takes a fair heavy hit there. Lord, the last remaining player here for Enigma Galaxy. 2 players from Nova, and they're trying to send it in because they can feel these players starting to get back up on their feet.
Team Secret finally eliminated now, and next Ruya have an open path to this next circle. Enigma Galaxy looking to put back the pieces as Ralph getting res. Nova slowed down with a couple of knocks coming on through. 6-2-8 behind Nova, slowing them down. Fenerbahce still in the middle there. And Furious Gaming in the compounds that they've had, in the buildings that they have controlled, get the shift towards them again.
This is great news for Furious Gaming. They can continue to hold on to this spot. And if it didn't have a compound here, perhaps there'd be players sending shots back towards their way. But with this compound, it just gives them free reign over the circle going forward. DXAVA down towards that south side of them on the east. Probably their biggest threat. Enigma Galaxy back up on their feet with all players to a respectable amount of health. Amodi takes a big hit. Nova's just hanging on by a thread.
Paraboy crawling out wide. Should be able to spot 33Z pretty soon. The question is, what is he looking at? He drops up out of the tickle of the blue. Might have seen 33Z there, not sure.
I think they both missed each other by a mark, you know. You saw 33Z look the other way and Paraboy look the other way at the same time. So it's kind of just one of those gentlemen's agreements not to take each other down. You know, Nova really needs this time. Amodi goes down, Enigma Galaxy tries to send away, and I think this is the smart thing to do in this moment. You know, getting a few more placement points is really good for you.
Jimmy sends around, distracts Amodi, and the rest of the team is there to pick up the pieces. They moved through, and Ralph down on the front. It's just Lord now for Enigma Galaxy. As next Ruya, they're down to 1 as well, so this push through for Nova could look even better to move straight on in, and in goes the crash. Jimmy runs him down, and it's Lord taken out. Nova 4 players strong. They want this top spot.
I mean, they've been hanging on by a thread, but that thread must be made out of Kevlar because, Jesus Christ, this has been one hell of a run from Nova. You know, it felt like it could have been over at any moment in time, but it's never over for Nova.
DXavier on the south side. Nova on the west. Furious Gaming on the northeast, and they haven't really had to do too much so far. They've been pretty good at holding this corner, but they will have to leave it. Pretty certainly. Fenerbahce does get spotted, and more eliminations going over to the Nova tally.
8 so far. A really good elimination count for them. Order's moving up forward, tries to look for more of these players. Rebellion out in the midst. Could cause problems, but he's quickly dispatched by Paraboy. Makes a mockery of his position now. DXavier off in the distance. Will be holding pretty. Was just on a warpath.
Lamborghini gets spotted out. Paraboy able to take that knock easily. More damage pouring on through. Furious Gaming, in the meantime, have used this opportunity to move out into the fields. Very solid decision-making there. Nova into the double digits on the elims.
This is unbelievable stuff at the moment. The reigning champions looking like they deserve to reign here. Boosters on board, but not many meds. Realistically, these eliminations mean a lot more to Nova than you might think, because the actual loot they'll drop from these players is going to be incredibly important to Nova's endgame.
But look at this. Furious Gaming, in the meantime, they've taken control of this next circle. This next phase is theirs. Frankie, I wonder how many meds he has. Stuck bleeds out.
Frankie remains now with a pretty clear idea of where he's hiding. Furious Gaming not opting to take any initiative here. Instead, just take the zone itself, which I guess is initiative in of itself, but they're not looking to clear out Nova as of yet. Very smart stuff here. Get behind the loot crate, get a bit of cover available for yourself, and put any other team in this circle in an awkward scenario, because they've got these forward scouts, they've got the members in the back that can play flank with some really good cover available to them. I think Furious Gaming is in a beautiful position.
They just have to leverage it. Bottom of the table's not where you want to be. As Frankie goes down. Another elimination. 13 total so far for Nova. I think with the guaranteed 12 points as well, they might just see themselves towards the top of the tables at the end of the first day. It's going to be close. Furious Game.
One way to end it. One way to end it, if you are the reigning champions, you want to be on top on that first day, strike fear into the hearts of the other teams. Strike fear they have. I mean, they've had their way with quite a few of them in this circle, giving them nightmares. Furious Gaming looking to be next, but with the skull as the logo, this is also a team to be feared from the west. They're giving up these back positions though. I'm not sure about this.
They're looking to suppress this line, but they're allowing Order to get this sideswipe. They don't have cover on that angle anymore, Blank, as you say. They've given up that backwards position. Shots going both ways, and damage is good.
Order's running
breaks out, and he gets to the tree. This is crucial positioning now, Blank.
This causes so many problems in the pipeworks now for Furious Gaming. You can see them start to panic, throwing nades over towards the position, but he's too far out, and now Nova just need to creep their way in. Order has to wait for an opportunity though. That's the big problem, because they're playing downhill. Circle doesn't really favor the guys from Nova. Pappy goes extremely low.
And there's a smoke in their way now. The need to stop the push forward, sure, but one goes down on the front. Jimmy is traded out, but Pappy low as well. Gets that heal off the flush, and another knockover onto Paraboy. King and Order, the active players now for Nova. And two players from Furious Gaming fall. The nade over the top. It's going to be Molotov, but Order breaks out wide, looking for the angle. Order goes low, goes down, and King, a nade sent towards him, could be it, but it's a 1 versus 1. King moves forward. Nova looking to try and take the chicken dinner, close it down, but no!
Who wins?
It's Furious Gaming to take the chicken dinner right at the end. It was down to the wire, but they hold on out for the chicken dinner on the northeast side. Nova fall the final hurdle. Not there, an elation for Furious Gaming.
Elation and relief, to be honest with you. I mean, Furious Gaming had the spot for such a long amount of time. It really shouldn't have been the case that Nova got that far. King almost cleaned it out. We saw how low Pappy got in those final moments. I was completely flabbergasted at the end there. Honestly though, Nova have really put their mark on that game. Incredible stuff. I think the most unfortunate part of that is they don't get any elimination pickups towards the end there versus Furious Gaming. All players still technically alive in those final moments. Very, very well done to Nova though, but Furious Gaming, this is how you end a game when you're in such a good spot, right, John? When you hold those compounds, when you're in a good position, take the initiative, take the zone, get set up, and then go from there. I do think there was a slight misplay at the end, actually taking away your backwards defenders, but alas, it works.
I mean, they lose those angles, but they win the game. It doesn't matter in the end. Maybe something to learn from, though, and Nova falling just at the end there. Unfortunate, but Furious Gaming from the bottom of the tables get a chicken dinner.
The pan has been flashed. I know, Blank, don't be too mad at me for that one. I'm sorry, man. But Furious Gaming, what a time for them to come alive. A time that they desperately needed to get a victory under their belt, but more importantly, get some confidence under their belt as well. But we were looking, honestly, at Nova in those final situations.
Yeah.
Like Nova, they're on 13 eliminations. They still have 4 more to pick up. It could have been our biggest game of the day, but they just fall short. But either way, they're still performing well. They're being quiet, like you mentioned before, Seven, and maybe leaving it all towards that last day to just climb those final 3 or 4 rankings.
What do we say? Maybe tomorrow we'll start hearing about Nova. Well, they were like, you know what? We'll jump one up. We'll start. You can talk about us right now with Nova. I mean, the way that order was able to rotate, I completely agree with what Blank was saying there. I was surprised that Furious Gaming allowed that to happen. But going to Furious Gaming, I mean, I got to give him some props because the player that I've been talking about and the player that in a way I was calling out and hoping that we will be able to see here, Papi Potro being able to clutch up against Nova too. I mean, that is going to be such an even bigger confidence booster for that player.
Yeah, look at the points though. Total 13 eliminations from Nova. They're going to be top when it comes to points won this game. But talking about Papi Potro, you got to mention that play from Nova with having the off angle being given to Order was so well executed. But the response, especially from Papi Potro behind that rock, making sure that Order could not go any further in that push, in that off angle, to make sure they were not going to get pushed back up against the blue, was the pivotal play to make sure they had an opportunity to win that play. And then it was down to the gunfights. They won the gunfights, down to the 1v1 versus King. Papi Potro, MVP of that game for sure.
And something that worked wonders there, especially from Furious Gaming, is that they were able to throw away a Molotov, and it kind of forced Order to not just go in a linear, pretty much push towards them. It forced Order to just go towards this side, exposing himself even more towards Furious Gaming, and they were able to capitalize on that.
Who was the player you're talking about, Max?
That's Papi Potro. Okay, it's Order.
I like hearing the way you say it. No, I like hearing the way you say it, man. Don't even get shy about it. Well, you see Order, though, going to be the MVP. 6 eliminations coming through, and that play obviously getting to the tree, trying to provide another angle for Nova to use. It was a smart move, but in the end, Fierce were just a little bit smarter, I guess, as you mentioned, Sam, with that Molotov coming, able to really force Order into a different position. But in the end, like, this is the first time we've seen Order. He was the MVP at the start of the day. He's the MVP at the end of the day, and you can see. You got really French there for a second.
You did.
I got my inner Calaris, but it became French for a second there. We had over 1,000 damage made by both Order and Paraboy, but the execution was really strong. And you got to keep in mind, when we were looking at them rotate, the entry point was a really good idea from them coming from the western side. You have that little bit of a high ground position that you can abuse with that third-person perspective, but there was too many teams for them to fight. There was Next Royale, there was Team Secret, Enigma Galaxy, 628, Fenerbahce. It was super, super hard for them to get involved. And one thing that Blank mentioned that actually they played around really well was they were just waiting out for teams to dwindle in numbers one by one. They picked up all the loot, which I feel bad saying Blank was right because he destroyed one of my points earlier. But it was a really good execution. They were able to buy more time with the utility they picked up to try and make sure they had a shot for that chicken dinner.
All this Nova love. I got to give even more love to Furious Gaming because something that they did that I think worked out well for them is when they did have that compound, they didn't just wait there. They didn't just decide to, you know what, we'll just keep on waiting. Yeah. They were active. They were able to get those ilms. They were able to make sure they kept an eye on everybody and seeing where they were going to be going and trying to set themselves up for that win. So I think Furious Gaming, this is a huge game for them. We've always talked about, remember, we're talking about 19 ilms in one win. I mean, it wasn't 19, but...
Well, I mean, at least for Furious, they were 15th, I believe, going into this match. They pushed themselves up to 10th. Unfortunately, Godlike has fallen to 16th, but as we look towards the front page here, Nova have snuck their way into second place. 0 chicken dinners. Every team around them has a chicken dinner, but 32 eliminations, the second most fragging team in the lobby so far. They've been putting on a stellar performance and put themselves in a really good position, only 9 points behind.
That's 9 points. Okay, I thought we were checking, making sure it was 9 points behind. But okay, because I take a little bit longer, so I just need to make sure the math was right. But yeah, Nova, and especially looking at that, it's pretty even between the eliminations and rank points they're able to get between their games. So you can say every single time is about 50-50. You're going to be a team that's really high in the overall ranking. So happy to see it. And looking at our elim rankings in this game too, well, not in this game, so throughout the entirety of the day, Frozen's going to be on top from Turkey. Amazing thing to see once again. But Nova, able to be consistent at the end of the day, was Paraboy able to get himself 14 and Order 12. Really, really big step up from Nova. If they can continue that in day 2 and day 3, then they are a team that can significantly improve on a day-to-day basis. They could be gunning for that first place easily.
I'm not gonna lie, I need to cough too looking at this one. 7 Frozen leading the way here over Paraboy. I mean, this is his first like big international global event. He was like 15 years old, I believe, when he came into the team. And he's got 15 elims. Like, this is a phenomenal performance out of him.
What's crazy is he's currently tracking to actually improve on the amazing performance that he had on West League Finals. He ended up with 24 elims. Right now, he's only just 10 elims with 2 days remaining, with 12 games remaining in regards to that. And it's crazy to think that we were talking about Nova, we were saying how quiet they were being, but how consistent they were being as well. And here they show up on this final game and just kind of any doubts that we might have had, any doubts that the viewers might have had, they are the champions, they are the defending champions for a reason. And once again, Paraboy showcasing that he is, in my book, I'm going to put it out there, he is currently the GOAT.
But does he follow you on Instagram?
No.
I do follow you. Does he follow you?
Of course not. Who's gonna follow me? At least I got like Luxy following me. I'll take that. No. I'm pretty sure you follow Zute at least. So Zute is gonna be following that over on us. But still, like, yeah, this is exactly what we saw in East League with Paraboy, right? Even though his team was doing bad, which they're not doing bad whatsoever here.
Yeah.
But even when his team was like 16th place, he was still top 3 when it came to eliminations and damage, right? And we're seeing right here, he hasn't been the MVP a single time for his team, and yet he's leading by 0.5 MVP points.
It's just he's just so consistent when it comes to performing every single game. If it's in terms of damage, survival time, any situation you throw his way, he will find a way to make it work in any way, shape, or form. And that's just why he's on top of his game every time. But now having Order back him up, being on top of almost MVP there, being actually in second place for the MVP race is impressive. Is what we needed to see from them from the Eastern League, and now they're actually performing at the top tier. There's no room for mistakes, and they knew that coming into this.
Yep.
I think the only letdown for me, unfortunately, and I do love you guys. I mean, I predicted you guys almost every single time when it came to the league stage. We're not seeing Newsy from Infinity. I mean, he was typically like the one to always stand out. He was one of the top 2 fraggers, I believe, throughout the entire event. And he's been non-existent so far.
I think at the start of that game, we saw some stats pop up, and I think only 2 players in the team had eliminations before that. That means you have 2 players in the team before this game that had 0 eliminations apiece. So they need to try and find the issues, fix them ASAP, because you only have 2 more days of play. That is maybe not going to be enough to step up.
At least now they're starting to get elims, right?
Hey, no, that's
so they're going their way.
Well, here's a quick little recap. Looks like coming in for Furious and how things went throughout this match. And again, I think for them, like, such a big confidence booster. This is the perfect way to end off the day. Get a nice little victory, get some confidence back into your team. Again, this is your first big international event on a global scale. And that might give them the boost they need coming into day 2, saying that, all right, we can pick up victories, we can get wins. Let's continue this momentum into day 2 and shoot up, even further in the rankings.
Yeah, one thing that I'm able to see actually with this map feed that I wasn't able to see actually in the game itself, their response time to every single circle shift is insanely fast. The execution on that end, they see circle, like, boom, okay, we have a game plan, we're going to execute it, we're going to get in position, and that's what we said also earlier. They had that strong position towards the end. You might think some teams would maybe play a little bit too passive, but here, they were willing to take shots. I think they even took a huge third party, what was it, versus Team Secret versus Next Ria, getting those extra eliminations left and right. I like seeing that proactiveness towards the late game, and they made sure also that worked out in that fight versus Nova. I was impressed. I think this is a good performance from these guys.
And this is exactly what we were talking about, right? We were talking about them being in the compound, but they were still making sure they were active. They were still making sure they weren't hiding away from a fight in a way. They were making sure they were keeping track on anybody that was maybe moving their way, covering their angles, and it ended up working wonders for them. And this is the second match today so far that they actually performed really well in Erangel. On the first match of the day, they ended up in 6th place with 1 Elim. So this is a bigger improvement considering how much we're going to be playing Erangel for the next 2 days as well. This can be promising for this team.
Yeah, what was said earlier on the cast, I think it was act weak when you're strong and act strong when you're weak. But what happens to act strong when you're strong? Just do it, go for it. You have a strong compound, teams literally have nothing to defend themselves from. Just take shots, and even if you're not going to get eliminations, you're not going to win any ground on you. You're keeping that space built up for yourself.
Yep.
I think John and Blink were talking about Furious here in the position they took towards the end. Blink was saying like they're not being proactive, but they are getting to the zone, which is proactive in itself. And we see them taking that zone was obviously a very crucial point of them even winning right against Nova here.
I mean, if you're going to be proactive, sometimes not taking any fights might actually be proactive. If you're not in a situation where you are allowed to be given the patience to just wait and keep an eye on what everybody else is doing, I feel like that's not a bad thing, especially if you're also causing some damage out there and telling teams, hey, don't come near us because we are here. Don't even try it.
Yeah, we've even heard of like faking there's more of you than there actually is sometimes, where you just rattle off shots just to make everyone say, oh, whoa, we don't want to go over to you, we want to back off and sit back. But then again, I think for Paraboy, he'd be like, I want those. He'd be like, that's like a mating call for him. He's going to come over there and decimate
1v4?
your team.
I like those odds.
It's just bad. It's bad odds for the other team when it's 4v1 against Paraboy. But in the end, I mean, I think today's been really productive. I think we've seen a lot of good things out of a lot of different teams. I don't think we've had that like really dominating team come to light just yet, though we are seeing obviously a couple of the teams towards the top be consistent. But I think this really opens up the tables for all the other teams out there going into tomorrow. I can't wait to see which teams might step up there, or maybe what teams can finally create that little bit of a bolster, that little bit of a lead going into obviously our further and further matchups. Now, we got a little bit of a snippet from this man earlier on during the cast here on Miramar. We're going to hear a little bit more from Frozen coming in from Next Ria right now.
Live, of course, from Singapore, this is the PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. With me now, he's still pumping. He's so exhilarated. I can feel it from here. I wonder if you can feel it too. We have Frozen from NRX. Hello. Hi, good to see you.
Hello.
We have a few questions to ask you. Just bear with me. You and your team, amazing performances today, especially that 1v3 at the end of the fourth match. Can you break that down for us?
Bugünkü dördüncü maçta yaptığım 1'e 3 karşılaşmayı hatırlıyor musun? Nasıl hissettin bu maç esnasında? Bu maçtan sonra herhangi bir stratejin oldu mu ya da sonraki maçlara uygulayacağım bir strateji var mı?
Yani açıkçası oradaki 1v3'ü alacağımı biliyordum çünkü çıkışıma smoke çok güzel bir şekilde atmıştım. Zaten takım arkadaşım Yekta da smoke'ları atıyordu ve orada hani dikkati bir tık daha üstüne çekti. Hani üçü de Yekta'ya fokusken arkadaki adamı vurmaya başardım. Yani geri kalan 2 kişiye de vuracağıma emindim zaten. Bizimkiler bayağı arkadan bağırıyordu falan. Bayağı heyecanlı bir ortam olmuştu. Açıkçası alacağıma emindim yani. Aldım Allah'a şükür.
Yes. And he said he was so excited during the game, but after that, especially during the game, their team member helped to him by using the smoke, and after that he tried to push the other team, and one of team member who is Yekta helped to him too much for 1 versus 3, and he believed to himself to win against the 3 enemy, and he just finished and got the scores.
Yeah.
And next matches he will continue to do.
I can see the excitement in his eyes. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. How does it feel? Talk to us about how it feels to be at the top of the table on day one, at the end of day one of the grand finals.
Birinci günün sonunda top listede olmak konusunda nasıl hissediyorsun? Sonraki günler içinde bu hissiyatın seni bir yere götürecek mi?
Ya zaten antrenmanlarımı sürekli bir şekilde yapıyorum yani sık sık yapıyorum. Maçtan önce analizimi de yapıyorum. Elimi de ısıtıyorum. Ya ben devam edeceğini düşünüyorum. Hani istikrarımı bozmuyorum asla. Hani elimden geldiğinin en iyisini yapmaya çalışıyorum. İnşallah devam eder yani bir sonraki günlerde.
I'm doing my training so hard, and I will continue to do training for the next days, and especially I'm doing my hand exercises to warm up, and for the next 2 days I will still continue, and I will be the best.
Awesome. I mean, that was going to lead into my next question. What are you going to do to prepare for the next 2 days? I think aside from those exercises.
Yeah. Can you ask again?
For those other things, anything else in particular that he will be doing in the next 2
Özellikle
days?
sonraki 2 gün için yapmayı düşündüğün herhangi ekstra bir çalışman var mı? Özellikle el ısıtma egzersizlerin vesaire, stratejin.
Yani açıkçası öyle bir şey yok yani analizimizi yapıp elimizi ısıtıp oyuna giriyoruz. Farklı bir stratejimiz yok. Sadece kendimizi motive ederek heyecanlanmayıp hani rakiplerimizi çok büyütmeyip yolumuza devam etmeyi düşünüyoruz. Ben açıkçası Allah nasip ederse 1-2 gün sonra da aynı performansı vereceğimizi düşünüyorum yani sorun olmazsa.
We will still continue to do our hand warm-up exercises and do our analysis with my team. And if anything, if we have luck, and we will work hard, we still believe we will be the first team for the next 2 days.
All right. It sounds good. Thank you very much for your time, Frozen from NRX, and from all of us in Singapore. Thank you very much to our translator as well, saying our big hellos. And I think this was the sign. We're sending you all our love from Singapore. Back to you, our analysts at the desk.
Excitement is definitely something Frozen has an abundance of there, as you saw there on the screen. And, you know, to be fair to her and to them, we should do our little... Hey, I'm doing the slap. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, stop.
Max!
Max,
Stop it,
come on, Max.
There we go. But a great little interview from Frozen, obviously talking about his hand exercises, talking about how he gets ready for matches, talking about the confidence he has, and a little bit of nerves he was having, especially in that 1v3 we did see him clutch out. But for a 15-year-old to come into this with $1.5 million for first place on the line, he's keeping himself composed quite well, Seven.
He definitely is. One thing that definitely worries me a little bit is day 2, right? Let's say for some reason he doesn't perform the first 2 matches. How is he gonna react to that pressure on his shoulder? Because at one point, if I'm not mistaken, I think in regards to just Illims alone, he was controlling 41% of it, which is just absolutely insane to me. So if he's not able to perform in a way, Max, I feel like that's going to hurt them big time.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. Hopefully they can try and work that one. But I like how he's also mentioning during the interview that his teammate was doing a lot of work to try and set him up. He's like the true anime protagonist of this Pmgc Grand Finals right now. He understands the power of friendship, and he's getting to that point. But
I'm sad.
If they can build upon that, it's going to be huge.
I think I said my name.
I was looking for
That's me.
I was looking for a JA in there, and I think it didn't win. But because we did hit 1 million viewers, we were giving away 51 + 9 devices.
Ooh.
So if you see your first 2 letters of your name and it matches up in terms of numbers or letters, then hey, you might have won one of these lucky prizes. I don't think we're allowed to actually even to participate in this, unfortunately, because we're working on the show, and in our contract, it's like you're not allowed to win things that are on the show, no matter how hard we try. But obviously, big congratulations to everyone who did win one of those phones, and we expect to see you in PMGC next year. Now that you have it.
Ooh. Maybe
No,
they'll
not Max.
Definitely. I was about to say no, that's not happening.
You give him a 1 + 23 Pro, and he's still not going to be able to qualify. But there is no PMCO anymore, so.
True. Hey, you might have a chance.
It doesn't exist anymore. I'm fine.
You might have a chance.
You're saying I've got a chance. You definitely have a better chance than me. But maybe give me some highlights and some lowlights for you. Teams that stood out, teams that really performed well, and you're happy with, teams who maybe underperformed. Let's start off with 7.
Yes.
Okay. Performers, I think it has to be next Ria. I was not expecting them to perform this way. I was not expecting, especially Frozen, to perform like this, considering, as you were saying, it is his first major tournament. So I'm really impressed with what next Ria was able to do. Now, on to the not performance. It has to be S2G. I was giving them a break, and then all of a sudden it just went downhill, and it's to the point where you don't want to be in that position, especially if you're gonna be even wanting to challenge the top 3. Right now, they're seeing that top 3 get farther and farther away.
Okay, Max, real quick.
I would have to go with the highlight of the day was for me, Nigma Galaxy. I talked about the Arabic region so much and how they've improved throughout the past year. Able to get himself 2 second places on the first 2 games. After that, able to get a win over on Sanok, which we were saying, no, that was going to be the highlight map. And they did indeed deliver. Yeah, if they can continue and build upon that in the second day and hopefully the third day too, they could be representing the Arabic region in that first spot and taking home $1.5 million, which would be absolutely insane, Jason.
Yeah, it's more than I'll ever make in a year. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here on the desk. And obviously a big shout out as well to Mustache Dave, Necro, John Allen, and Blank, who are covering the matches live in game. And thank you all at home for watching as well. But remember, we still have 2 days left here before we can crown our victor, give him the trophy, give him the $1.5 million, but more importantly, being the best team in PUBG Mobile in the world. We'll see you guys at the same time tomorrow for day 2.
The world, it won't give you the time. It's now or never. We pick our arms for the battle. It's time to hunt, and one thing I know, this is the moment to rise. Oh, I'm caught in the fray one more time. Let's go. The battle. One